All right. Um, Bear with me just a moment here. I just want to check to make sure the volume is working well. So just bear with me. All right. Looks like looks like everything's working all right here. Um, so of course I want to start off this video by giving all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, which is who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai, which is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Um, Now I do want to say real quickly, before I get into the video, this is only going to be an hour or so, simply because I only have for the next week or so until the 24th, which today is the 13th. All right, so until the 24th, I only will have 2 more hours left of my free streaming hours from StreamYard. So I'm going to use those wisely. And then on the 24th, it resets back to 20 hours. Okay, then I have 20 hours for the entire month. That's, because I'm using the free version. So that's just what I got to deal with, unless I want to pay about $40 for unlimited time. But financially, I'm not able to do that, at this, moment in time. Okay. There's a few things I wanted to discuss, which tonight's just going to be an open panel where anybody can come on and ask, bring up any topic of discussion. But one thing I wanted to, may I say, address was the other day I went on to what's that cat? ITR, right? ITR, which basically stands for Israelites Tried and Refined, which basically they're a break off of GMS, right? A couple years ago they left, GMS and went to do their own thing, right? To, to teach their own doctrine, right? So they were live the other day, and I went on there, and Mind of God was on there talking with them. They were, of course, talking about the two witnesses, or, the two witnesses, right? His favorite topic to talk about today, in these times now. So they were actually having a decent discussion, on the topic. I was listening in, but then then I joined the discussion, right? I called into the show next after him, and I was just talking about a couple things. It was kind of hard to have a dialogue with them because they'll basically cut you off in the midst of your sentence. So they'll try to ask you 100 questions, but then when you ask one question back, it's like, well, we won't deal with that. You know what I'm saying? So to the best of my ability, I tried to ask them, questions, which you know it didn't go too well. But for lack of better words, I asked them one question which was containing to the topic we were talking about, because they teach that the main thing I wanted to talk to them about is they teach that Babylon the Great is the Vatican City, right? So I wanted to, may I say, inquire, for lack of better words, um, why they teach that, right? Which what I did is I brought up uh what is that? Jeremiah the 50th chapter and Jeremiah the 51st chapter. And I was like, do you guys agree that has not been fulfilled yet? And they said that it has been fulfilled, that Jeremiah chapter 50 and Jeremiah chapter 51 have already been fulfilled. And then if you ask them when it has been fulfilled, they'll tell you that that was talking about ancient Babylon dealing with Nebuchadnezzar, right? And ancient Babylon is located somewhere over in Iraq, right? Everybody could look that up. Let me just hit the comments real quick, right? Sacramento Truth Movement is in the chat with us. Hey man, how you doing? Hey, shalom to you as well. But back to what it was saying, going over the whole thing about Jeremiah, it's like if you read that, it's like, um, no, Jeremiah 50 and Jeremiah 51 have not been fulfilled as of today. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to do a whole sit down and prove that Jeremiah 50 and Jeremiah 51 are not fulfilled. Okay, and how can I say that? Because the scriptures speak about, what is that? Isaiah 28 and verse 10, for precept has to be upon precept. Here a little and there a little, right? That's how you get the understanding of the scriptures, is you go line upon line, here a little and there a little. Okay, and that's how you get the understanding of what the text has to say. Is you got to go line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little and there a little. That's how you properly understand the text. It's like, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, and Jeremiah, the 51st chapter, and we're going to read that, and we're going to show, it's like, okay, well, this verse lines up with Babylon and Revelation. So how could that been fulfilled back with ancient Babylon? And I'll give an example. It says what? That which I don't have the scriptures with me, otherwise I would read it. I was reading it earlier, right, just to refresh my memory on the chapter, and it speaks about how Babylon, which again they say this is talk about ancient Babylon, which is over in Iraq today. What happened was they were saying, or I should say the text was saying, sorry, I got sidetracked by reading some. But what happened was, if you read the text, which I did, I was reading it, and it says what? It says that Babylon, which again, they say it's talking about ancient Babylon. It says Babylon shall be left without an inhabitant. It shall be wholly, which means what? Totally decimated, right? Totally taken out of power. Okay, utterly destroyed, for lack of better words. It's like, okay, and it's the same thing. And what is that? Isaiah, the 13th chapter. It's the same thing, right? The whole land will be made desolate without a inhabitant. It's like, okay, well, did you know? And I mean, hell, I know this. You know why? Because I was watching documentaries. I want to say maybe the other day, like 2 days ago or so, I was watching a documentary where they went to ancient Babylon, right, the site where you can still see the massive structure. So for one, Babylon, ancient Babylon is still technically standing. And also, not only is it standing, but people are dwelling over there. There's people living there right now. So either we must conclude that either God is a liar, or we have to conclude that Jeremiah chapter 50 and Jeremiah chapter 51 have not been fulfilled as of today. Because if that's the case, and the text says that the Lord will make the entire land desolate without inhabitants, if people are still dwelling in that land to this very day, and today's date is August the 13th, 2021. So if today there's people dwelling in that land, well, by logical deduction, that must imply that the prophecy was either wrong or it has not happened yet. Which, of course, my position on it, as I already iterated, however pronunciation it is, okay, or in other words, I othered my statement and said what? That it could not have been fulfilled. My statement is it has not been fulfilled because it's talking about America. All right. And how do I prove it has not been fulfilled? It's very simple, because I brought up the two statements earlier. It said what? Such as, it says what? There should not be inhabitants in the land, and it should be totally decimated. But the structures are still standing to this day, and there's people dwelling literally over there right now as I speak. So how could it been fulfilled? And if you ask them that, it's like, well, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? So they'll sit there and tell you that it has been fulfilled, but then when you go and ask questions about it, it's like, well, we don't want to talk about it. It's like, okay, let me just hit the comments. Sacramento said, give me a Hebrew name, ETT. Well, let me see. You can look up some names for yourself, man, and just Google some, and you might find some that you find attractive. for yourself, for lack of better words. Mind of God's on here. Hey man, if you're wrong, click that link. Mind of God said ITR, right? Israelites Tried and Refined, which is the name of the group. He said are absolutely finished. Yeah, those cats, man. Hey, look, those guys cut 6 ways to Sunday with the scriptures. All right, now as I said, I'm gonna go back on there because I wasn't may say necessarily prepared to deal with them on that. The reason why is they'll tell you, okay, brother, go to the exact verse that you're talking about, and it's like, well, wait, bro, I just joined to have a dialogue. Now I told you the chapter I'm talking about, and since you already done videos about it, right? That must mean you are, may I say, familiar with the chapter. So if I make a statement and say in such and such verse, or in this chapter it says such and such, if you are familiar with the chapter, then that would imply that you must know where the verse is I'm quoting, right? Because it's in the chapter, right? So if I came on and said, brother, I know it's in this chapter, but off the top of the head, I couldn't give the verse, but I know it's in this chapter. So if you'll just go pull it up for me, I would appreciate it. And they gave me a problem with like that and said, well, we can't do that. It's like, we can't do that. It's like, brother, it's in that chapter. Don't know the verse off the top of the head, but it is in that chapter and you can go look it for yourself. And you should be familiar with it because you did a couple videos on the exact chapter. So therefore, you must know that it's in there. So guys are just playing games. Guys are just trying to act stupid. Is what guys are doing, man. As I said, ITR, man. Yeah, those guys don't know what the hell is going on, man. Those guys don't know what the hell is going on. Okay, and we'll have to maybe on Mind of God's page tomorrow we might do a stream about that, right? Because we want to make a whole video about those guys, man. Okay, because ITR are clearly in error of not knowing the scriptures. Because there was a couple questions I wanted to ask them that I did not get to did I not get to address, for lack of better words, on the show. Okay, because I was only had like 25 minutes because it was about 10 o'clock at night. So what happened was I wanted to ask them about they teach that UFOs are not the chariots of God. It's like, okay. So they'll say that's true, and then they'll ask, well, where does it say UFO in the Bible? Where does it say it? And if it's not in there, then that must imply that you guys are making that up. It's like, okay, why doesn't the Bible not use that word? Because back then they were not calling it that. That's like I could also make a statement and say, well, there's not a verse in the Bible that says that Jesus is a black man. Why? Because everybody knew that around back then. Okay, now we have verses that speak about, that his skin color was like this tone in the very last book of the Bible, right? But in the Gospels, they did not put a verse in there and say that Christ was white or Christ was black. They didn't say that. You know why? Because people knew that back then. So they didn't have to iterate that. Okay, because that was what you call common knowledge when the people seen him. So they didn't have to write that down because they seen it. Okay. Oh, and another thing, when we talked about, right, the great whore, riding upon the beast. Now, of course, that's parabolic. That's not literal. But then they said that it is literal. I kid you not. Those guys in ITR, they were saying that it is literal, right? Because they said, well, who's the her? And I said, it's America. So they responded and said, well, no, because it says it's a woman. So I respond and said, well, you guys know that that's not literal. Then they said, well, it is literal because it says it's a woman. It's like, okay, well, what about if you go down to the last verse of the chapter, right? Which they were saying it was a real woman, or not a figurative, right? Not a metaphor, for lack of better word. So I said that it is a real one. And how do you prove that? I was if you go down to the last verse, right, Revelation 17, verse 18, it says what? And the woman that you saw is that great city. So those guys got cut with that. But then when I brought that point up, it was like, well, let's skip to the next, you know, a scripture. Let's skip to the next one because it clearly those guys got cut, man. So I tried to go on there and argue with them about, okay, well, you guys are saying the Vatican City is Babylon the Great. It's like, okay, okay. Now, with that being said, what imports or is the Vatican making? Because last time I did my research, which bear in mind this was a good 4 years ago, I was looking into this, so it could have went up or down, both for America and both for the Vatican. Could have went up or down. But last time I did my research on the topic, the Vatican's yearly imports $30 million. Okay, that's yearly. That's not daily. That's not weekly. That's a year, 12 months. Okay, roughly $30 million. Okay, America's was was about like 2.21 trillion with a T, not a B. Okay, and again, both of those numbers, they could have went up or could have went down because this was going off of statistics from 4 years ago. But regardless, it still proves the point that the Vatican does not fit the description that we are given. All right. So, it's like those guys don't want to deal with that. It's just like, and then, there's so much that we could go off on these guys about, man. It's laughable at this point. And their whole proof that America is not Babylon is this. They said, well, show me a verse where it uses the word America in the Bible. And I would respond and say that I cannot give a verse that actually uses the name in the text, just as I also cannot give a verse that uses the word Vatican City. So, by logical deduction, if you're going to use that to prove your point, I could also turn it around and say, okay, my brother will show me a verse that says the Vatican City. And if you cannot do that, well, by what logical deduction can you say that the Vatican's Babylon then, going off of your own logic? And nobody can answer that. It's just, well, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's utterly ridiculous, man. Utterly insane, for a lack of better words, man. Let me just get some water real quick. I was just eating something uh, spicy before I started this show, so let me just get a drink real quick. All right. Yeah, before I was doing the show, man, I was working on I was actually just reading some of my book, right? Some of my manuscript, for lack of better words. I have to go through and rewrite it, right? I make a original manuscript, which is the book itself, right? But then you got to go back and read it, and if you made any errors, you got to correct it, and you got to read it to make sure it all makes sense. And if you want to add anything in, you add it, but then you make another copy of it, and then that's the copy that you'll use for your for the book itself, right? So I would call the first manuscript a draft, okay, which is basically the story, but you got to write it all down again, right? So you can correct your mistakes, and you want to, make sure you got it all right, the first time, for lack of better words. Oh, and another topic that I wanted to bring up is I was actually watching a GMS brother. He did a video going over mine of God's favorite topic. Well, one of his favorite topics, which is what? Revelation, the 16th chapter, dealing with the seven last plagues. So I was watching his video, and he went off. That brother's totally going off on something he said. He said that the first plague, which I'm gonna do a whole nother video on this, Lord willing, tomorrow I can get to it. But he was saying that the first plague, which, well, what is the first plague? The first plague is those who receive the MOB will receive what? Sores on their body. And he was saying that it's twofold. It does mean literal sores upon their body, but it also means those nuclear missiles. So I asked him, brother, it's like, okay, I agree that it is talking about literal sores, which is my teaching. But for you to say that it's metaphoric for missiles too, how can you prove that to me? Now, I agree the seventh vial is talking about the missiles. That one's talking about the nuclear missiles. But the first vial is not talking about that. I don't see, but what logical correlation can you make such a statement as saying the first vial is talking about the missiles. I don't see how you could say something like that. I just cannot see it. You know what I'm saying, man? It's just which again, I'm gonna do a whole video on that. We'll break down all of the all the vials, right? We'll go into that because that's a topic to that's a good topic to get back into, right? That's a good topic to speak about again. Let me see real quick. God damn, man. It's tell you, man, it's damn hot out here, man. Can't believe how hot it's out here today. I mean, hell, it's right now literally, I kid you not, it's 100 degrees right now, man. Right? It's 100 degrees. It's like, damn. You know what I'm saying? But you know, is what it is. Yeah, that's just the way you got to look at it. You just got to go with the flow, as I like to say. Um, bear with me just a moment. So yeah, we'll, as I said, there's a fresh link up in the chat if anyone wants to join us. I know Mine of God said he's gonna join. God damn, I'm gonna have to. Should have brought two damn bottles of water out here with me, man. It's like, damn, I didn't think be this exhausting just sitting here. Man, it's just going back to what I was saying about the guy who brought up the seven vials, right? It's like, okay, I don't see. Oh, and then he said for the second vial, dealing with where the angel poured out the the wrath upon the sea. I'm nearly paraphrasing it. I don't have the text in front of me, but it speaks about what the angel pouring out God's wrath upon the sea and the rivers and water, right, and turned them to blood, right, and all the living souls in the sea died. He was saying that the sea was talking about the people, right? That's going off. Now I do agree as far as when you deal with Babylon, right? It says what? Go to Revelation 17 verse 15. Says what? That the water where the horse sits are people of multitudes and nations and tongues. So in that context, I would agree that that one is referring to people because it said it is. However, in Revelation 16, the seas and the rivers and water, that's not talking about the people. That's talking about the actual ocean, right? And actual water that I'm drinking right now, right? Talking about man's drinking water. And he brought up and said, well, but it says all the souls in the sea died. So how could it not be referring to people? It's like, okay, well, are animals living in the waters? Do animals have souls? And if you're going to say no, if you go to what is that, Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 7, it says what? The spirit of a man goes upward, but the spirit of a beast goes downward, right? The spirit of an animal goes downward, right? So dealing with you know 16, it says what? That all the souls in the water die, right? So the souls in the water represents the sea life. It's not talking about people in that. And if that's the case, well then how the hell are they going to be there for the other five vials if everyone was killed during the first and second? Because remember, he said that the first vial was talking about nuclear missiles, which he's clearly going off on that. And again, I tried to correct the brother and said, "Hey, brother, I see it differently. Do you mind explaining to me why you see it that way?" And he got all emotional and was like, "Oh, well, if you don't agree, you must be some type of like skull, troll scoffer demon or something like that." It's like, hey, bro, all I did was ask you, how can you take the first plague, which is talking about those who receive the MOB? Got to watch the words you use on here. But it says what they were receive blemishes in the skin, for lack of better words. Okay, for taking, the thing. Okay, so how can you correlate that with nuclear missiles? And the answer is you can't do it. You're just adding that there. All right. So I just corrected you and said, hey, brother, look back into it before you do a video on it. And he didn't want to deal with that. He's like, oh, well, you're just some type of scoffer then. It's like, come on, man. Are you really not capable of having a civil discussion on matters like that? It's very simple. Okay, which again, I'm gonna do, Lord willing, tomorrow. I'm gonna do a whole breakdown on that chapter because it's a very good chapter to go into. I've done it last year, so I should probably do it again. But yeah, man, you know, it's very simple. Okay, it's very clear, what it's talking about, man. Say, hey, look, these guys out here, like these ITR guys, man. These guys don't pay attention to those damn devil demons, man. Right? Those brothers are clearly lost in the sauce. Right? Those brothers are lost in the sauce. Over at ITR. Right? Those brothers are lost in the sauce, man. All right. It's like, you know, saying that there's no. Oh, and that's another thing. That's another thing. They teach that and I know this because I watched their videos for a while, which I really never followed those guys. I remember when they were back in GMS, they were starting to go off because they would say that that nuclear missiles are not in the Bible, right? And then change it, Vatican's Babylon, and that reincarnation's not in the scriptures, and they got worse and worse, man. So just use those guys in ITR as the example of how we are not supposed to be in these times that we're in right now, man. Right? That's the as we could call them, the synagogue of Satan, man. Those are deceivers and liars. Okay, and those guys clearly are in error of not knowing them scriptures. Okay, which I want to go back to the nuclear thing. So somebody remind me that, but I did want to touch on something else that I recently heard. Oh, which don't get me started on this guy, Zealots of Israel. Which don't get me wrong, I like this guy. I do like Zealots of Israel. I think he's a cool dude. But I do got some beef with the Zealots of Israel because the other day I was asking him a question in his comment, but would you know how I am? I just ask certain questions. I already know the answer, but I'm asking to test if you know the answer. For example, I might ask somebody, okay, what does this verse mean? What does that verse mean? And the answer is not that I care what they tell me, because I already know the answer, but I want to test their intelligence, for a lack of better words. Right? So I'll ask them, and sometimes they might impress you because they might get it right, but oftentimes they get it wrong. So I asked him a question. I was like, okay, is Romans 13 talking about obeying the government that we live under today? And he said that in practical terms, it is talking about that. It is talking about the governments that we live under today. So I asked him a question and said, okay, brother, I hear your statement, but I do have to ask you a question. And you can either admit you don't know the question, or, you can, answer it. So I asked him the question. I asked him, it's like, okay, if Romans 13 is talking about obeying the government, by logical deduction, that has to imply that when they tell you you have to take this thing, got to use code word, but when you got to get this thing, I could say, hey, look, brother, you got to go along with that because, hey, Romans 13 says you got to obey the government. So you couldn't say nothing to that because you would be going against God's minister then. So you see, when you bring that up, then they do that Hebrew hopscotch, as the vocab Malone would say, right? To do that Hebrew hopscotch around the scriptures when you bring that question up, because then Romans 13 isn't talking about obeying the government. We don't got to obey them on that one, but anything else we do though. You know what I'm saying? That's what you call pure hypocrisy. So I challenged him. It's like, okay, brother. Well, I beg to differ with. And then basically he got emotional and was like, well, don't debate on my comment boards. It's like, okay, brother. Well, what about the text? The scriptures say to debate your calls. Do they not? Scriptures say debates are welcome. So, it's convenient how we skip over those parts. You know what I'm saying? Um, but, not to get far off on him, I do want to do a video. Maybe Mina God might join me on that guy. And hey, I wanted to bring him on the channel so we can talk with him and actually have a discussion on those matters of discussion, right? Because that might actually make a good video. That might make a good talk. Excuse my stutter. Um, bear with me a moment. One topic I did want to bring out was which I did a video response to this. I don't think I uploaded yet, but you have Sakari on there. They teach that which I saw this last year, but I just got back into it. And they teach that that a fish that you can't eat is is tuna, right? They said that tuna is a unclean fish. Now, I beg to differ with that because according to the text, what is that? Leviticus, the 11th chapter, it tells you the fish that you can eat. And it says what? That the fish that are in the ocean that have fins and scales, you can eat those. That's what it says. Anyone can go read it themselves. It says the fish in the sea that have fins and scales, you can eat them. But whatever does not have fins and scales in the seas, you do not eat them. It's like, okay. So tuna, if you look up a picture of a tuna fish has fins and scales. So by logical deduction, we must be able to conclude that we can eat tuna because it says it has fins and scales. All right. Um. Oh, let me just respond to this. Russian News said, "I eat tuna. It's good. Yeah, yeah, man. I like tuna. I mean, hell, in my prepper closet, for lack of better words, I have a whole bunch of tuna in there, man. Let me see real quick. Hey, mind of God, what's going on, man?
End times. What's up, man?
I'm surviving. I'm surviving. How about you?
Yo, I'm just getting situated. I'm going to go on mute, but I'll be back in 1 second. I'll be listening.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. But yeah, going back to what I was saying about tuna, you're allowed to eat tuna. Tuna is a lawful fish according to the scriptures, okay? Because tuna has fins and scales. And the reason I brought up Zealots of Israel, even though I was having that debate with them in the comment board, it all started on a video that he put up about the tuna, right? Because he was agreeing that, yeah, you can eat tuna because he showed in the video that tuna has fins and scales. It's like, okay, so that must mean that it's okay to eat tuna then. And indeed, it is okay because the scriptures say what? That if it has fins and scales, you can eat it, right? So as I said, man, it's case closed on that. Those Sakari guys, those guys are doing that Hebrew hopscotch. I'll throw it back
Dude,
to
I,
mine again.
I served them up, man. I got them. But dude, what's up with this beef, man? We don't have any issues, man. You don't have to make a live stream about me. I got no problems.
Hey, look, man, we'll talk about it here though, and if we can handle it, I will take that down because truly I don't have time to do it anyway. But I do just want to deal with that real quick, right?
Yeah.
I made a sarcastic statement. I'll say the exact statement I made. I said, "Hey, look, brother, I'll have to come down there and give you an ass beating with them scriptures." So clearly, I was being sarcastic with the statement I made, right? So, hey, brother, you should have given me a warning to not do that. Just as for an example, when Tony came on the show, I asked you brothers to be respectful, and you 5 times went against that, but I gave you chance after chance. So you should have gave me a warning on that to not do that again. But hey, it's all cool, man. Right? It's not a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think just know like the vibe of my channel is a certain way, like someone like that person you just mentioned I wouldn't even allow him on my channel. But so, fair enough. But I think just on my channel again, it's like it's very academic. Even people that come by and say the missiles are not real, like Flat Earth Boxer, I call him a troll right to his face. I don't want to talk to him. So I have my views and stuff like that, and so I don't want that kind of language and all that. But dude, we have no issues, man. And for the record, we're always under judgment. So I was excited to hear what you were gonna say tomorrow, man. I'm always under judgment of the Most High. You know that every minute.
Right, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man. But anyway, as I said, man, I apologize about that. I should not have used that type of language. So I do sincerely apologize
No, it's
about
cool. It's
that.
fine.
But to make it clear though, I was just making a joke with the brother. I
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
being serious.
Yeah.
So
The
anybody
problem is
who heard
they
that,
don't
just
know, but dude, they don't know your sense of humor like I do because he hasn't been on my show in a long time, right? So I know when you're joking or because we talk, in the last couple of weeks, but and
right.
my audience may not because like some people are coming. Like I'm sure a lot of people. I talked to someone that I did not expect would be reading the Bible is starting to read the Bible. This is an amazing time that we live in. So a lot of people are listening. So you gotta be careful, the way that we speak. I know that you were joking between you and I understood that. You know what I'm saying? But man, it's
Yeah, yeah,
that
I
those are the days.
understand.
Yeah.
Right. But I do have something I do want to ask you though.
Yeah,
If you don't mind, could you go to Second Ezra chapter 16, start at verse 10, but read verse 11 as well. I want to get your understanding on this real quick.
we gotta talk about ITR too, man. That was
Yeah,
epic.
we're going to talk
That was
about that.
freaking.
We're going to go into that.
I got to talk to you about their name, by the way. Just the name that they selected. But okay, Second Ezra 16:10. Is that what you said?
Yes. No. Second Ezra chapter 16, verse 10, and we're going to get verse 11, but let's start a little bit above so we can get the context.
Okay, I'm not used to this King James
Oh,
Bible
and read it.
online.
Yeah, yeah. That's all right. Take your time, man.
So Second Ezra 16:10 to 11.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, he shall cast Second Ezra 16:10 to 11. For people out there who don't know, this isn't the Apocrypha. ETT and I believe this is canonical. He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? Wow. Oh my gosh.
Right, right. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up to you is
Yeah.
because it says what? That the Lord, he will threaten and he
Yeah.
will beat people,
Yes.
right? So again, going back to what happened, I was being sarcastic. However, Christ here was being serious. It says what? That Christ is going to threaten people and he's going to beat people, right? So my question
Absolutely.
to you is if he was walking here on the earth today, would you let him on your show or would you boot the Messiah off because he said he's going to threaten people and beat people up? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, but you're not the Messiah, dude. What are you talking about? That's not a one-to-one. That's a non sequitur. That makes no sense. When did you become the Lord? So you're the two witnesses that
Well,
elect, and now you're the Lord.
no, I never said I was, but I'm just saying if you kick me off for saying that and being sarcastic, but if I can show you where Christ was being serious, where he said he's going to beat people and threaten people, would
Yeah.
you not allow him on your show then? Or I just want to get your thoughts on that
Well,
because I thought that was
what
interesting.
he's doing would be righteous. What you were doing made absolutely no sense because Flat Earth Boxer is not somebody who doesn't know anything. He knows a lot of things. So that's not somebody you need to go and even give us quote unquote spiritual ass beating or anything like that. Like he's not quote unquote antichrist in any explicit way like that I've seen. And like he I have to assume that he's genuine, even though I don't know much about him for now, you know. So I don't understand. That's the wrong person to really go at like that. I could think of a lot of other people. Go at Tahar like that. Why don't you go at Tahar like that? He teaches the spinning ball earth.
Hey, that's a fair argument. That
Flat
is a
Earth
fair
Boxers is a
argument.
flat earther. He
But but
the one thing I want to talk about with him is that we should, which I wish you were there when we could have talked, me, you, as a have an agreement on a lot of things. He doesn't believe those missiles are real. And I would have loved to have had Flat Earth Boxer. Maybe we can do it in the future. I don't know if he's changed his opinion. That would have been a great conversation.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely. And
yeah,
just to make it clear with him, I did try to come on to the show. I had to go on a different account so you'd let me back on, but I tried to go on and apologize to him, but you then kicked me off again. So I just want to know why did you kick me off? What rule did I break the second time that you kicked me off?
you
Just so
had
I know for the
33 in your
future.
username. That was the issue. If you took the 33 out of the username, I'll clear that account. I'll put it back.
All right, that's cool. Oh,
I'm
that's
just
cool,
kidding, dude.
man.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. But
Yeah, yeah,
that's a
just
good topic
anyway.
to have, man. That's I would like you were talking about that earlier when I was driving home, and you and I mean, we see that we see the destruction from those missiles, and other people don't see it, and that's where you could really actually help people instead of telling them to give them a spiritual ass beating. Okay, like. I'm trying to here's the aspect, by the way, about the brotherly comment. Here's the way just so you know, because I haven't stated this to you, if we're both, let's say the Bible's wrong, this is where I actually sense that you and I are quote unquote brothers because we have believed a lot of the same things. Or let's say it doesn't happen in our lifetime. Let's say we're out of the body and then it's in the future, then I would relate to you because we went down the same sort of road. We have different conclusions on a few important topics. So that aspect we're brotherly. But on these topics about the two witnesses and all these other things, we're on different teams, and then obviously we're free to debate and all that, but we're on different teams. So just so you know, that's the way I view it. If the Bible's not true, then we have a lot in common, you and I. because we've both been severely deceived, or pretty much our entire life. But I'll pass it back to you.
Right, right. I would agree with that, but then I would have to respond and say, well, what about where Christ said to forgive those who do you wrong and forgive your enemies? Do you agree with that text, or do
100%.
you
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on that?
I didn't have
Okay,
any
good.
hard feelings for you, man. I understood I know your sense of humor. Okay, I just don't think my audience and they don't know your sense of humor. So that's it. It's nothing more than that. I'm not gonna slander you any more than I already slander you in videos about the two witnesses, which we should talk about. But because I was laughing when you corrected that person about the plagues, and I agree with your logic. That's why you could be a tremendous asset to GMS. You don't have to keep being the student all the time. You know more than them about a lot of things. Like, for example,
Right,
Revelation
right. And we
16.
can yeah, yeah, sorry to cut you off, man. But
That's
yeah,
it.
we can talk about that. We can talk about that for a little bit. As I said, just to clear up what I said earlier, once again, I'll say it for the last time. I do sincerely apologize to the brother that I made the statement to. I was in the wrong for doing that. But as I said, just understand I was only being sarcastic with you, man. No hard feelings. So Flat Earth Boxer, I sincerely apologize from that. My bad. So anyway, now we got that handled.
Yeah, he's cool.
And I
Kyrie's
and I
cool,
will
man.
take the yeah, yeah, man. But anyway, just so I can get this out so I don't forget, can you set up on your page tomorrow night? We can do a whole show about ITR and send them a link so they might come and join us. Because I know
Uh,
they wanted to come on my show, but
yeah,
I'm not going to have enough time to do that because of my time's running out. So we can have them come on your page if they want to come watch us. Because they'll do a response to that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think I can talk to anybody except you at this point, man. I don't. I really, and I'm not
Well,
trying to. I don't. What are we gonna talk? All they did, they tried to embarrass you and I for 3 or 4 hours. And what you were saying is exactly what they were doing. Freaking just stalling. Okay, gaslighting, whatever the term is. They were just. It was crazy what they did. They were a little bit better with me, but they did the same thing to you and I. So like they're gonna do more of that. And that guy had the nerve to come to my page, 44 Swift, and say, "Oh, you should come back, and then we're gonna make you read and understand." So we're their reader. These people who think Mystery Babylon's the Vatican, okay, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like, come on, dude. How much more? I would say America being Mystery Babylon is more obvious than the flat Earth in the Bible.
right, right. And
So
man, what I'm gonna do is when I was on there with him, I brought up because Jeremiah the 50th chapter and Jeremiah the 51st chapter came up in the conversation, and I asked him, okay, do you agree that has not been fulfilled? And then he said, no, no, all of that's been fulfilled. So what I'm gonna do is
yeah,
tomorrow I'm gonna sit down and make a video, and I'm gonna show all the correlations because I was just reading it this morning, in my free time, and it's like you can't tell me that's talking about ancient Babylon. For one point, it
yeah,
says what? That this land will be left desolate without inhabitant. But if you go over to ancient Babylon, which is located over in Iraq, right, is still standing today. There's people living there today.
yeah.
So
Exactly, exactly.
how the hell could that be fulfilled? And then also, there's numerous verses that you can clearly line up with Revelation 17, 18, and 19 to clearly conclude that it's clearly talking about the exact same thing. But they'll say, but show me where it says America in there. And if you can't, well, to see, then you're all they're doing is that Hebrew hopscotch, man.
Yeah,
That's all
exactly,
those simps
exactly.
are doing. I'll throw it back.
I got to send you a link, man, because I watched a video of them last night where they were like, "Oh, if you can go debunk the elders of GMS, then I'll lose my salvation." Basically, they said something like that. I'll denounce my faith in Yahushua. And so this was like a few years ago. So like, why? What's changed now? Okay, so they took a little break, and now all of a sudden everything the elders teach is wrong. So it is a hopscotch, man. They're just jumping all over the place.
Right,
So
right. And don't get me wrong, because I remember when they were in GMS, but then they got kicked out because they were teaching that Vatican nonsense. And they
and
got
flat Earth
worser and worser and worser. Yeah,
and
yeah, and
flat
the
Earth.
flat Earth.
Yeah,
I do
yeah,
got to mention that. That is true.
yeah,
Which they're right on that. I'll give them that. They are correct on that. However, one thing that they are going off on is they also teach that nuclear weapons do not exist. I did a video a while back on a nuclear hoax, so-called nuclear hoax.
right, right, right.
And they also teach, let's see, what's the other topic? Oh, the UFOs. They teach that the UFOs are not the chariots of God. You ask them what they are, and it's like, well, uh, they're not real. It's like, well, wait, I saw one before. Well, but they're not real. That's some type of satanic, deception. right? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Right, right. They don't teach anything really that they learn from GMS. I don't believe GMS is all wrong. I'll say that for a fact. There's no way they teach a lot of things that are true. So I'll never say that about them. And I do believe some of them are sincere. So
Right, right,
yeah,
absolutely. Just like our friend here, Fresh and New, put up a statement in the chat and said nuclear weapons do exist. Ask the Japanese, and that's correct. Look what happened to what is it, Hiroshima and Nagasaki during the Second World War, right? There was atomic bombs that were dropped on those cities, killing, hundreds, you know, tens of thousands of people. Tens of thousands of people got instantly killed. But that I forgot though. That's not real because I didn't see it with my own eyes. I'm just messing around.
yeah. I
But
mean, exactly, exactly. What do you
yeah,
think?
yeah,
There's
it's
what do
ridiculous.
just by like inference, right? What do we think they're spending their money on? What are they building? Like in the spare time, are they building like friendly things? Like anything to help the people, or what do we all think that these governments are building? And then they have military parades every year. So what are those? What is that, CGI? That's
Oh
crazy.
yeah, yeah. Right, right. Just like when you bring up the whole missiles, it's like, oh, well, what missiles don't exist. It's like, okay, well, I mean, I can go see a missile today. You have people in the military that can see these weapons, but that's all that doesn't exist because I can't see it with my own eyes. That's as ridiculous as saying, well, by that line of logic, we must also say, well, not nuclear weapons, Antarctica doesn't exist because I've never been there. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Yeah,
as
exactly,
ridiculous
exactly.
as
And
saying
really,
that.
for flat earthers, they should understand that, because NASA is basically a front for weaponizing space. That's what it is. Like, they're not all just floating around in those things, like laughing at us. Like NASA, like money goes to NASA. So what are they using it for? For weapons,
Oh,
satellites.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Right,
So
right. There's absolutely, something up there, and that goes into, um, I believe
Obadiah,
that's, yeah,
Obadiah.
Obadiah, right? That they should ascend into the heavens, and they absolutely did do that. Now, can I tell you what they used it on exactly? I don't know, but
Hmm.
yeah, they're up there. Whether it's high weather balloons that's keeping them up there or something, I don't know that, but they're definitely doing something because I mean, NASA's getting what, $50 million every single day. Obviously, that's going to something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I don't see how they could take that position. So that's actually essentially like us at this point, with the amount of evidence that Mystery Babylon's America, is you and I debating a ball earther. And I'm not saying that that's not important, because it's relevant, but I mean, we've heard everything, like America being Mystery Babylon. If that's not the case, I would say the entire Bible is not true. What's then, the God of the Bible has changed from his opinion on Sodom to modern day America. And so he's like, okay, Sodom was bad, not just because of the sexual sins, but they ignored the poor, all that stuff. And then, but modern day America, which resembles Sodom and has actually institutionalized Sodom's policies and made them legal, and in fact promoted, then I mean, then the God of the Bible is not the same yesterday, today, and forever. So what do we have? I would
Right,
reject the
that's a
entire
good point.
Bible. Yeah.
Right, and it's funny because when I was on there with them, which you watch the discussions, you know what I'm talking about. But what happened was, they asked me, it's like, okay, well, can you show me a verse that says America in the scriptures? And I said, I can't show you the exact verse that says America because it's
Yeah.
not in there. So by same line of logic, I could also say, show me a verse that says Vatican City. And they'll say, well, we can't do that. It's like, okay. So by logical deduction, that would mean that you were also wrong. But the interesting part I wanted to focus on is when you go to the verse that talks about the woman and the beast, right? They
Hmm.
said that that's literal because they said, well, who's the her? I said, the her's America. But they said, no, it's an actual woman, right? So they believe that that's literal.
That's ridiculous, too. I know. I saw that. I saw some of the dialogue back and forth, which is, I don't know what to say, dude. I don't know. I hope they're being paid for that, because that's absolutely ridiculous. I genuinely hope somebody's paying them for that, because that's crazy to teach that. So,
And the bad thing about it, man, is they're out there teaching all these crazy things. They got the one thing right, which is the whole flat Earth thing. Hey, they got that right,
yeah.
but they're going off with everything else.
Yeah. You know what's funny, man? Dude, one of the guys came by my channel in a recent video, And he's like, where does it say Mystery
teachings. No,
Babylon?
they're leading.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, ETT. It's cutting out, man, just so you know.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Now we can. You may have to repeat what you just said.
Yeah, man. I wasn't saying anything. I might have my phone hit my hand or something like that. You can go ahead.
Oh yeah, so one of the guys came by my channel and he's like, "Where does it say Mystery Babylon in the Bible?" So I'm like, "Oh my god, you don't even think the Bible says Mystery Babylon?" And then uh he's there, so it's like says mystery, comma, and then something. He's like, "Oh, there's a comma in between." Like, so they're like getting into like the commas and the grammar and all that kind of stuff. So like they don't even believe Mystery Babylon is written in the Bible, like as one phrase kind of thing. So
Hey, I was thinking about doing another stream in the future. I'm gonna entitle it "In Order to Know the Mystery, You Got to Know the History." Right? In order to know what it's talking about, because it goes into depth. It goes into depth in the scriptures. It tells you the history of how all of this was established. Right? It goes into there are 7 kings, 5 have fallen, one is, but the other has not yet came. What is that talking about? That's talking about their there's what the 5 empires who ruled. The empire who was at the time was a Roman Empire. The empire which was to come, which was not around back then, was the British Empire. But
yeah,
from the British Empire, America was established, and that's why if you read on, it says from the seventh, the eighth came, and the eighth goes into perdition. Right. So you have to know the history behind it because it clearly describes it. It describes it even when you go to Jeremiah, what is that? Jeremiah 51, verse 12, I believe it is. It says, what? That even your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bore you shall be ashamed, which proves it's America, because who's the mother of America? Great Britain. And we're taught that in our, history that we're told at school, right? The mother of America is Great Britain, right? But ancient Rome does not have a mother. They basically just came into existence on their own. So,
yeah.
that just cuts their whole doctrine. I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, and the Bible's amazing. So Second Ezra 12:26, and whereas thou sawest that the great head appeared no more, it signified that one of them shall die upon his bed, and yet with pain. The Bible predicts in Second Ezra a king that will die in his sleep. And then if you look in history, there's a king that died in their sleep, and then that signified the transition of power towards America. So how would the Bible know that in Second Ezra 12:26? That just lucky guess that one of the kings in the future are going to die in their sleep. I think it was King Henry. How would the Bible know that? So, I mean, come on, dude. Like, this is actually very, very simple. That America is essentially all the power structures, and if you understand reincarnation, then all those kings are not dead. They come back into bodies, but leading America now, which is the quote revived power structure. Whether you say it's Rome or whatever, it's all those leaders in the past. Where do they go? They go to the Most High, and they come back into a body, and they do the same stuff. Okay, it's like I don't understand. There's nothing new under the sun. So
Right. Now,
yeah,
as I said, man, maybe on your channel, if you're available tomorrow, we can do a whole stream, going in depth, into, ITR and, cutting them 6 ways to Sunday with them scriptures, right? Those boys are doing the Hebrew hopscotch. So, if you're around tomorrow, man, set up that stream and we can talk about that, because that'll be interesting to do a whole show on that. Um, but for now, we can go into what I was saying earlier about this guy who he said that the first plague in Revelation 16, that's talking
yeah.
about the missile. Well, what do you think about that?
What the hell, man? Is Tahar okay with that? Like, are they allowed to teach whatever they want, or like does Tahar
No,
co-sign
no.
that?
Tahor's not with that. I was watching one of their breakdown a year ago, and they said they agree with us that that's talking about an actual sore on the body of those who received that thing. They agree with that. So I called him out and said, "Well, brother, you're not teaching the same as GMS on that." And he was like, "Well, you must be a scoffer demon to call me out." And it's funny as well, because he didn't just say that. He went off on the second one. The other ones he pretty much had right from what I saw, but he went off from the first two. He said that the second one, when it talks about the waters, right, being turned to blood and all the souls dying in the sea,
Yeah.
he said that that's talking about the actual people. Would you agree with that, or do you think that that's the actual ocean?
Well, I mean, that's for sure. It's the ocean. Can I make a quick point, sorry, to wrap up the last thing I said about the king dying in his sleep, just so people are not confused? It's actually
Go
King
ahead.
George. He died on February 6th, okay, which is 2/6 for numerology people. and King George died in his sleep. And if you read 2nd Ezra 12:26, it signified that one shall die upon his bed and yet with pain. So I just, for people out there, like, the Bible's not making lucky guesses. Okay. Like, it's not funny. The God of the Bible is behind all this. All these kings are in God's hands, according to Proverbs 21:1. So no, man, I'm glad you said that, because their breakdown is absolutely absurd. So if you post a video on that, man, I'll have my notification on and I'll be extremely excited, because I'm anticipating your breakdown of Revelation 16, because I believe only a small group of people understand it. So I'm glad you defended that, because that's absolutely ridiculous, because your point is very valid. If that is the missiles at the beginning, then who can survive that? What's
Right.
happening at the end? So
And it's like by logical deduction, right? We read that, and all it says for the first one is that those who receive MOB, I'll use that word,
yeah,
it says what? They receive sores on their body. And then it goes into the next one. So I said, okay, what word are you taking from here to make a correlation with
yeah,
missiles? And I
right,
asked
right,
him that, and he didn't know. He was just like, well, you're just a scoffer demon. Oh, bro, all I did was ask you a question. And as far as dealing with the waters, he said, well, that's talk about the people. It's like, now I'll say this. Certain scriptures, such as Revelation 17, verse 15, right? The waters where America's at, it
yeah,
said that those waters are talking about people. But that's a different one, because when you deal with the 16th chapter, it says what? That the waters, it says the lakes, the rivers, and seas, right? So it's clearly talking about physical drinking water, right? And then he said, well, if it is talking about the literal waters, or what souls are dying in these waters, because men don't live under the ocean. So I
yeah,
said, well, wait a second. Don't animals have souls too, according to what is that, Ecclesiastes 12:7, right? The soul of a man goes upward, but the soul of a beast goes downward, right? So the animals in the sea were taken away when the sea was turned into blood. So that's not talking about people, right? In other contexts, as I brought out earlier, in the 17th chapter, that one's talking about people when it says the waters. As far as this scripture, this is literal
yeah,
water. You know what I'm
100%.
saying?
Yeah, and that's what's going to cause the famine. In Revelation 18:8, death, mourning, and famine, and she shall be out. This is going to cause the famine. So they're going to blame the famine on the angels. The famine's not going to be blamed on the government. The government's not going to be the enemy. The enemy are going to be the angels, and then ultimately, Yahushua, when he returns, they're going to fight against him. But this is the lead up. So this is all part of the way that these angels are going to be vilified, because they're going to get blamed for the famine. So yeah, I do believe this is literal, and I believe that this is going to start soon. It could start any day. Yeah, for sure.
Right, right, absolutely, man. I'll throw it back to you.
I got Revelation 16 here. So that is strange to me that somebody could take 16:2 and turn it into missiles. I have no idea how somebody can do that. Like, the one part that ITR said, which is their view, I guess, but all they're doing is trying to confuse people. When I went into this, is they're like, "Oh no, everybody here is on God's left hand side, so nobody on God's right hand side is experiencing this." And so that's what they said. And so I had to back off, because that's what they do. They just play like word games or whatever. But that also doesn't make sense, which is what's going on. But Revelation 16:2 predicts that people are going to get a noisome and grievous sore upon them which had the mark and upon them which worshipped his image. So not everybody is going to have the mark at this point. And I was trying to use this verse, to help them understand that the mark is not going to go out to every single person on this earth. And I think ETT and I agree on that. That it doesn't mean, when all doesn't mean all, like every single one, or else the Bible can't come true. It's a lot of people. That's really what it means. Like pretty much everybody. So, and this proves it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. When it says all, it does not mean all, right? I
Yeah.
do agree with that. So yeah,
Like
it's
all the
not every.
people in like the Amazon, and like all the people hiding out, it's like, well, I don't know how are we going to even find them or whatever. So there are lots of
Yeah,
people on
yeah.
this
So
earth that no one knows where they are.
right, right,
Yeah.
exactly. That's a good point. So yeah, when it says all, it doesn't actually mean every single person. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Right.
Let's see. There's another point I wanted to bring out, but damn, it fled my memory now. But anyway, going back to that debate. Oh, and what do you think about? Oh, before I ask that, did you finish watching that debate with William Bell? What are your thoughts on all of it?
No, I didn't actually. I will though soon, man. It's like all these debates. Like when we talk, it's not like we're arguing. You and I have like a normal conversation, right? when I go and
Right.
talk to Sakari and them, like you have to have energy, right? Because like they'll start doing stuff, play games. So I feel like it takes a lot of energy. So even watching those sometimes like takes them a lot of energy. So I'll watch it eventually, but I'm just kind of like decompressing from all that stuff. But preterism to me, basically ITR are almost preterists now. So they should go and freaking debate that because they believe that either it's going to be way in the future or I don't know. Like what do they believe now? Really, I don't know. I have no idea. So I mean, they're basically preterists in my opinion. So
Right, right. And it's just ridiculous because, and I knew somebody who was saying that missiles don't exist. In fact, I did a video with somebody like that on the flat Earth. I
yeah,
want to say a good year or so ago. I believe her name was Trouble About. You might have saw that. But yeah, she said, "Oh, well, they don't exist." So I didn't really go deep into that because I didn't feel like it at the time. But
dude, that's a
it's like
big
it's
hang up.
crazy.
That's a big hang up, man, for sincere people. Even Jewish Questions, a guy that's on my hangout, we had a great discussion. I think that's an issue because people don't see it and they don't want to believe it, and I understand why they don't want to believe it because this land that we're standing on, the Bible prophesies, is going to be absolutely annihilated. Okay, in like potentially an hour, it could be literal. So I understand why people don't want to believe that, but that doesn't mean that the Bible doesn't teach that. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and I
worth
agree.
expressing. Yeah, for sure.
I do agree that yeah, it's definitely a scary thought to think that if a push of a button, the entire town can be wiped off the face of the earth in a matter of seconds. I mean, hell,
Exactly.
that's a scary thought. But hey, that's just the reality, of the situation that we're in. And these weapons do exist. I'm not going to sit there and say, well, they can't exist because I never seen them with my
Yeah.
own eyes. It's like, okay, so I can also say that the Titanic never sank because I was never there to witness it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I'll
But
read
it's
it.
like
Just I'll read the verse, ETD, and I'll pass it back to you just so people understand what we're
go ahead.
talking about. Revelation 18:10, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Whew. Most
Right,
High,
right.
Most High is about to get busy, man. In Jeremiah, it says these arrows do not miss. How is that possible without modern day technology? When did that happen? In the
Oh, but they
past.
I forgot though because according to ITR, that was talking about ancient Babylon. That was talking about ancient Babylon.
What I wanted to mention to you, man, about their name. Okay, there was a flat earther, Ranty Flat Earth. Okay, and then he was one of these people hosting all the flat Earth debates. And then after a while, he changed his name to just Ranty. And we were like, "Hey, why? Why'd you do that, dude? You dropped the flat Earth in your name. Like, is something going on?" Guess what he's teaching now? He went back to the ball Earth. Okay. The reason I bring this up. Notice how Israelites tried and refined. Their name used to be Israelites tried and refined, right? Look at their name now, tried and refined. They took the Israelite out. So we see what's going on, right?
Yeah, that's a
They're
good
basically
point,
teaching
man.
Christianity. Or I don't even know. I don't even know. It's probably worse than Christianity at this point.
Yeah, yeah, as I said, man, those guys, hey, look, what we're gonna have to do, as I said, we're gonna have to do a whole nother show on them going deep, bringing all these precepts out, because I got a whole lot that I like to, pump a few shells into those coons, man. I
Yeah,
mean, hell, I mean, hell, I got to give Sakari credit compared to these guys, man. These
100%.
guys, I mean,
100%.
these guys are some of the worst there, man. And you saw how it went because we both went on there and tried to talk with them. It's like I ask them a question, they don't want to answer the question, but then when they ask me a question and I respond to their question, they'll ask me in another couple times. It's like, and you saw it, man. They challenged us on the four beast and said, well, see, it has to be Rome because you agreed that the fourth beast is Rome. But then we
Yeah,
said, well, yeah, I do agree that the fourth beast is Rome. However, it came back in this time as a miracle. And they won't even let you say that. They won't even let you make a statement. They just want the precept. But then when you tell the precept, they won't let you explain what it's talking about. You know what I'm saying?
oh, dude, they were taking us down a word salad, like that was a word salad with a salad to as a dessert. I mean, it was just words, like all these words, and like I don't know what he was saying, and he at the beginning. I don't know if he was drunk, but he was like, "How come you didn't offer to write me a medical exemption?" And he kept saying it over and over again. I'm like, dude, I will write anybody an exemption. I don't know why you keep repeating that. So people know that what's going on, man. They're just their job is to just confuse the issue. It's weird, man. It's crazy, dude.
Right, right. So, going back to the whole UFO thing, it's like, so they say that the UFOs are not God's chariots. So, oh, and here's an interesting part. I had a conversation in the comment board under the video. Somebody was challenging me on the UFOs. They said, well, show me the word UFO in the Bible. And I said, well, I can't show you that word in the text because the word did not exist back in that time. Say, for an example, I cannot show you the word dinosaur in it because the word came about in the 1800s. However, I can show you creatures that are clearly described in the text that match the description of what we call. So if the UFOs are not God's chariots, my question is this: what are the chariots of God? And I pulled out the verse that says the Lord will return with his chariots. So now we
Right.
have to understand that there are chariots of God. So I just asked, what are they? Hell, I could be wrong. But how could you tell me I'm wrong if you yourself don't even know the answer, right? So what are God's chariots? He just responded and said, basically, I don't know. That's basically what he's.
But dude, in a way, you know this. Like we're just kind of doing this to pass time. But once they respond like that, we know that we're right. Either we're right or the entire Bible's wrong. That's that. When I watch stuff like that, those hopscotching things, then I mean, then either we're all wrong, okay, or what we're saying is correct because they're not going to answer. I'll read Isaiah 66:15 for the audience. For behold, the Lord will come. Listen to this, with fire, okay, and with chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. That's not ETT's anger. So what he made was a false comparison earlier, but I forgive him for that. You know, we got no issues here. But this is his anger and fury and his rebuke with flames of fire, and it says chariots. Okay, so what are those? Now, do they believe that Jesus is going to surf on the clouds in 1,000 years from now, or what do those people teach? It's crazy, man. It's sad,
And then
really.
I forgot to mention the guy responded when I asked him that question. He responded and said, "Well, they're chariots, right?" He said he didn't know, but then he responded and said, "Well, they're chariots. It says they're chariots." So basically, what he was implying is they're like Egyptian chariots, right, with
Oh
horses
yeah,
pulling them
right,
and
right, right.
wheels. It's like, I mean, come on, man. Are you smoking Crackula? I mean, what the hell is going on here? And then I asked him, okay, well, what are these UFOs then? Doesn't it seem little weird that everybody with a cell phone, for the most part, is recording weird stuff in the sky every so often? I mean, hell, every day now somebody's doing it.
Yeah,
Hell, I did
exactly.
it before.
All
But
those
remember,
people are
though,
faking it.
even
All those people are
and remember,
CGI.
hell, I don't even own a computer, right? I was recording a video, and behind me there was an unexplained flying object behind me, right? A UFO. But I forgot though because I edited all that. I faked all of that,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Everybody's faking everything. It's like, come on, these guys are cooning, man. These guys are
100%.
soft.
100%.
Haven't seen a sucker this soft since Banicula. Inside joke.
Dude, my younger brother had a dream about UFOs. I don't know if I told you that. So, I mean, it's even no. I'm just kidding. I'm just I'm just messing with you. But no, but dude, like, what was you? How was I taken away in then? Literally a cloud, like the clouds that we see in the sky. Are you kidding me? So you can't believe the Bible, and then all the, the pillar by fire and all that. Where the Israelites are being led. What were they being led by? Those are UFOs. Okay, I can get that verse.
Oh, and in
Uh,
fact, I do want to put a statement out there. I was watching a video this morning by I believe the YouTube channel, which I recommend everyone check this out, but it was called Top Fives. I like that guy. But he was doing a video, and in the video he brought something up very interesting. There was a picture, a painting from the 1500s, right? It's about, it's hundreds of years old. As it has Mary on it and John the Baptist and Christ as, little children. And in the background there's a man and a dog. They're both looking up at the sky, and in the sky, there's a massive metallic. It's enclosed in cloud and fire around it, a UFO up there. And again, this is from the 1500s, so it
wow.
shows you that back then people knew about this, and anybody can just look up on Google, look up 1500s picture UFO or something like that, and you'll see what I'm talking about. That
Yeah.
very interesting. And it's like it just clearly shows that these people, even back 500 years ago or whatever, they
Yeah.
knew that these things existed, right?
Yeah,
It was a
exactly.
common occurrence back then. So anyway, I'll throw it back to you.
Like, just think about how big of a conspiracy this have to be. Either to me, the Bible's not true, or we're gonna see it. I think you and I agree on that aspect because either the government's trolling us with all this like stuff that's going on, flat Earth, and then this narrative, and then the UFOs, or there's something big that's about to be revealed. I think you and I know what's about to happen, but I'll read Exodus 31:21 to 22 for people to understand. And the Lord went before them by day, listen to this, in a pillar of a cloud. Why is it a pillar? Because the light went right from the UFO all the way to the ground, so they knew where to walk. It's like literally a light in front of you, so you walk towards that light. That's why it's described as a pillar, to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light to go by day and night. These Israelites were traveling by foot, okay? They didn't have like spaceships and freaking like cars and Lamborghinis, okay? Verse 22, and he took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night from before the people, okay? This, when it talks about a pillar of a cloud, this is language so only certain people understand. The Bible's encoded, so that's a UFO, and we're seeing them every day.
Yeah, yeah, man. But I forgot though, according to ITR, that's some type of like all of that's fake, even though these people that have no idea how to edit videos, and I myself seen it. But remember, we're all part of some type of government conspiracy to trick the people to think this. And even you got guys out there, man, and I see these guys, they're out there saying that look, they're planning on making a fake alien
Yeah,
invasion. That's what they want you to think. So
right.
that when these things come back, people are going to fight against them. And hell, that's in for an example, that's in the book of what is that, Second Ezra's the 13th chapter. That massive UFO. They took that from the Bible and put that into the movie Independence Day, right? The first Independence Day, that massive UFO was over New York, which is funny as well. Because why is it
Right.
that in all these alien movies, it's always America that's the main target of these so-called aliens? Why? Because these Hollywood producers, they know. In fact, I gave this statement, I want to say last time I did a show. If you watch the original Planets of the Apes movie, I believe it came out in the late 60s or 70s, if I'm not mistaken. But if you watch that, and if you own the DVD like I do, and you can go to the scene selection, which basically is where you can pick what scene you want to watch, there's a scene at the end of the movie where America was completely destroyed. All that was left was the Statue of Liberty, and it was basically turned, everything else was turned into a desert. Brings to
Yeah.
mind Isaiah the 50th chapter. But here's the kicker. The name of the scene in the scene selection is called The Revelation, right? And America was destroyed by a nuclear
Wow.
destruction. It was revealed in the movie. As I said, everybody go give that movie a watch. Once again, that's the original Planets of the Apes movie. But yeah, if you own the DVD, go to the scene selection, and the last scene in the movie where America is destroyed by nuclear destruction, it's named The Revelation. So it just shows you that these Hollywood movie makers, they know them scriptures. I'll throw back to you.
Yeah, and for people, for all those Daniel people, listen to this. Daniel 2 um 34, thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them into pieces. Okay. And so this stone that was cut without hands is referring to Christ returning in these so-called UFOs. When you see those images of the UFOs, they look like a big rock in the sky. Okay, so this is where the Bible is encoded. So when it's talking about this final kingdom being destroyed, um, and this image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. And so just know that this is language in the last days with Christ returning in these so-called UFOs to destroy the power structures on earth. Okay, and this is in the book of Daniel. And so when it says a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay and break them into pieces, that's Christ returning in these so-called UFOs. So the UFOs are everywhere in the Bible. We could probably fill 2 or 3 hours easily from beginning to end discussing the UFOs. It's so obvious.
Hey, I got so sorry to cut you off, man, but
That's it.
I have two comments I want to read here. The one is from our friend Fresh and New. He said most people are so arrogant, they think humans are smarter than God, so they don't think he would have technology. Yeah, and that's a great point. Let me also bring this. Our friend Creation Bear said, I knew there was going to be an fake alien invasion early 2020. Then I learned about the chariots, right? And that's how, we all started off. Hell, I was brought up with, the Seventh-day Adventists. They taught that these UFOs are Satan and they're fallen angels. In fact, somebody commented on a video the other day and said, "Oh, wait, UFOs are fallen angels in there." those are demons. And it's like, well, no, that's not true. First of all, where's that in the Bible? Right? But we can read from the scriptures that these UFOs are actually the chariots of God and that the angels are driving in these vehicles, right? They're just
Yeah.
like we use vehicles to get around in. Why? Because it makes it easier for us. So who's to say that the Most High or the angels do not use vehicles to get around just from a logical standpoint? You know what I'm saying? And then also it has to be mentioned, we can read in the text where it speaks about the chariots of God. So now we can conclude that God has chariots, right? So who's to say that the UFOs, just from a logical standpoint, are not the chariots of God? You know what I'm saying? I'll
Yeah,
throw back.
exactly. Yeah, why not entertain that possibility? We need to see what they're doing. Of course, they have to be doing righteous things, but I want people to understand that, and ET and I understand this very, very clearly, especially in Revelation 16. Don't expect these things to be handing out daffodils, okay, and roses. Their job is to bring plagues and destruction. So this world is going to think, oh no, how can God bring evil to us? This is why it's very important for everybody to understand that God is the author of good and evil. We keep harping on that because it's important to know that, because God's not only bringing the good, he's bringing the good to his children on the right-hand side, but he also brings the evil. And one of the main mechanisms that he brings this evil is through these so-called UFOs. When we read Revelation 16, and it's talking about the angels hovering over the water, the angels pouring out these vials. What are that? They're angels, what, with a harp, a little white baby in the sky, okay, like plucking on some strings? What do you mean? Like, it's these so-called UFOs, okay? That's what they're
Right.
doing.
Something, yeah, something interesting to add to what Mind of God's saying is, I was watching a video that a GMS member put up the other day, and they actually did a very good job at this, but it was about the whole 9/11 thing, right? Which actually, what is it? Next month, what is it? The 20th anniversary, which I shouldn't use that word, but the 20th year since it happened, right? September 11th,
Right,
2001.
right.
It'd be 20 years ago, right? But anyway, getting to the point is, somebody showed pictures from that day, and if you look in the background, this is far away from the smoke, but if you look in the background, you can see two UFOs flying around. And then there's another
Mm.
picture from someone else that shows a blacker UFO that's flying around within the smoke. So that just shows you, man, that on that day the angels were present, right? And that's that just backs up the story, right? The eyes of the Lord are in all places, right? Looking upon the good and the evil, right? We're all being watched over by these angels, right? Whether we can see them or not, because they can fly around. I mean, hell, there might be one sitting behind me right now. I mean, hell, I don't know.
Yeah, they could be
That's not for
invisible.
us to know.
They could be invisible. They could be, that's the technology that we don't know of. They can enter this dimension and leave it. So go back to you, but you're correct. They could be anywhere all the time, for sure.
Right,
Right.
and the same, it's scary as well because the same thing with these spirits on the left hand side, as Mind of God calls them, right? These demonic entities, they also could be there with us. I mean, hell, there could be one sitting next to me right now, but that's not for me to know. Just as there could be an angel sitting next to me. I don't know. That's not for us to know. But these spirits can go throughout the earth and cause certain events when the Most High allows them to, right? They
Exactly.
will
Exactly.
have to get the permission from the Lord. But then if he gets that go ahead, hey, they go and perform the Lord's will upon the earth. I'll
100%.
throw it back to you.
Yeah, and I think that's not, again, we're not trying to, like, people like Good Servant and all that, we're not trying to flex on you, like maybe a little bit of theater, okay, for the most part, but that's an important foundational point, because if you don't understand that, the whole Bible won't make sense. Why? Because if you read Revelation 16, listen to this, just what we were talking about. I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath. So wait, angels are pouring out wrath? That won't make sense to the everyday Sunday Christian, which him and I were. Okay, so we're not on some stuff. We're helping you unlock and understand. Okay, just because it's evil doesn't mean that it's not from God. If your parents punish you because you do something wrong, does that make them not your parent? No, they're your parent because they care about you and they won't want you to do that. Okay, so it's the same thing. But what God's doing in the last days is across the entire earth. Revelation 16, those are plagues on the entire earth. It's never happened in human history. So preterists, Revelation 16 debunks preterism as well. When has that happened in human history? When has the world seen sores on people for any reason across the entire earth? So,
Oh, but remember though, because according to William Bell, he said, "Oh wait, well remember all of this happened in 70 A.D. because we're living in Christ's kingdom now."
He's gonna find out, the hard way. We don't want people to find out, man. You know what I love about Revelation 16, and you'll appreciate this. God, the Most High, is a God of balance. Okay, if you violate His laws, God doesn't let us get away with it, me and ETT, and He's not going to let the world get away with it. So if you violate His laws by taking, for example, the mark of the beast or worshiping the image, then God has a balance for that. He has to put sores on you, and then there's a judgment for people who have skin problems in the law, and then He'll deal with that the same way. He does not change. I just want people to understand that the Old Testament laws are not done away with. We know that now. So, and ETT knows this, but for people out there listening, don't think that God's remixing anything, because all these groups, ITR, and all these people, their job is to basically say, "Who cares?" You know what Naz keeps saying when he's on San Eder? He's like,
What?
what are you now? Because like he wants to know, are you still a Hebrew? Or are you a Christian? And he's like, I'm a prisoner of hope. It's like, dude, what the hell does that mean, dude? Oh, I could not stop laughing when I watched that video because he went on Sun Eder for like a few minutes. Bro, I was laughing. I was like, what the hell are these people talking about? That sounds so crazy. Like, even Joel Osteen would look at that and be like, what are you talking about? You're a prisoner of hope? What does that mean? So these people are finished, man. T-Mog might actually light up a live stream tomorrow just because I'm fired up right now, because that's crazy. What the hell does that mean? We're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
living
man.
in
As
those
I
days.
said, sorry to cut you off, man. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm tonight. I'm gonna have to cut it a little short in a little bit here because my time is running out.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. If tomorrow evening, and say around, which our time is different, but if we could start it a little earlier, that'd be good. So we could talk for a while and get some people on maybe. But yeah, that would be good if we can do a whole video on your page and I'll put some scriptures together that we can bring out to totally cut these brothers 6 ways to Sunday. Because as I said, man, hey, look, compared to Sicaria and GMS, these guys are the worst, man. These guys are by far
Yeah.
the
Agreed.
worst
100%.
buffoons out here, man.
100%.
These guys are doing that Hebrew hopscotch, as Vocab Malone would call it, man.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, look, tomorrow, mine of God and ETT, we're gonna give these brothers a spiritual ass beating with those scriptures.
No, see,
Inside
if
joke.
if you bring that, if you just bring a spirit of edification, and let's warn people, then let's do it, man. You're welcome on my channel. Just use that language here if you want. You know what I'm saying? Then we're good.
Oh, I'm already a step ahead of you, man. I'm just
Good.
being sarcastic.
Good. No, but you know what I'm saying. Like, but I'm saying this. I'm saying this genuinely as a friend to you, man. You are an asset. I'm not trying to gas you up or like. You actually know a lot more than a lot of people. That's why you're actually the only person I can talk to. So I just genuinely say you can really help is what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Don't scare Flat Earth Boxer off because he thinks that missiles don't exist. And there's other genuine people that have come by my channel who've said that. Okay. So it doesn't mean because you and
Right,
I
right.
believe it that it's true. But if you and I agree on that, and then we bring out the verses, people be like, hey, we don't want people to find out when they're in the air. You and I agree that's too late. Okay, it's
Right,
too
right.
late.
And this is
Yeah,
the thing with me, and I'll admit that I'm wrong, right? I will admit that even though I was making a joke, I will admit that I should not have, used that type of wording. So as I said, I will admit my fault and will better myself to not do the mistake again because I was in the wrong. Even though I was just being sarcastic and making a joke, even though that's true, I do agree that I was in the wrong there. So you know what? I'll be a
yeah, dude.
man and say, hey, you know what? I went off, but now I'm gonna better myself to not do that again. And that's the way we all gotta, look at life. Oh,
Yeah,
and that
agreed.
goes for every topic,
Agreed.
we could
Agreed.
talk about. That's just how we gotta, look at it. But anyway, I'll throw it back to you, man.
Yeah, I'm not bringing back that incident, man. Just don't worry about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about in general, because you and I agree on certain things. And I'm telling you, my audience, for example, again, it's not a big audience, but I'm just saying the things we could really team up on is Mystery Babylon for sure, the missiles for sure, Flat Earth for sure, God is behind good and evil for sure. These are things that I know just from talking to you. You're not wishy-washy. You believe those like the same level that I do. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not going back to that incident, dude. Don't worry about it, dude. It's a joke, dude. I just was not in the mood because I was impatient from what I went through with Sakari. I was a bit annoyed. So don't worry. It's whatever. But on my channel, it's a very academic place. And that's why ITR and them, it's going to be a waste of time because they're going to come and meander down a bunch of roadways. What helps actually when you and I get together is that We bring out the scriptures. We don't bring out our opinion. We literally just read the Bible to people, and that's what it is. So if you're down for that, I'd be more than happy to do that anytime, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. But yeah, that'd be good if you can, do it tomorrow, man. I'm available tomorrow. So
I'll
yeah,
set
man,
it.
we can have a hell of a show tomorrow. Hey, look, man. ITR is going to be turned into a spiritual punching bag, just like what we did with those other brothers a few weeks ago, man. These Christians, man, just like the heart of the video, he said, what, how to make a Christian run. Right, we're going to do a video about how to make ITR run. Those guys, hey, look, those guys are lost in the sauce, man. Those guys don't know what
Yeah,
the
and we,
hell
we
is
want
going
to
on
help them here. If they're listening to this or they listen to the recording, we want you to run not away from us, but towards God. Okay. We don't gain anything if there's more people burned in those missiles. Well, what do we get money for that? Oh, you made 10 more people get burned, so T-Mog is going to get $1 million. No, we want people to run to God. Okay, so that's the spirit that we're going to bring tomorrow, and we want people to run to God. Okay, because we're going towards God. So I have nothing personal with them or Sakari or anything. To me, I find it crazy about Sakari. They're so close to the finish line. I don't know why they would do the stuff that they're doing. Like the finish line's like right there. And then they're doing all this stuff in the club and selling things. Like, I don't get it. Like, to me, I don't understand it. But that's the spirit that we will come with tomorrow. Me and ETT will team up. Yeah, we have our differences. Okay. But no one's getting a beating or anything like that. Okay. We're just gonna edify. That's what we'll do. It'll be fun, man. I enjoy these, man. We bring out a lot of scriptures when we meet up, and I don't see any other people do that anywhere on
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah, yeah. As I said, man, hey, look, me and ETT and mine, I got, hey, we're bringing out more precepts than the Christian church brings out in an entire year,
Hundred
just
percent,
on a handful of our shows, man.
100%.
Just as I said, man, hey, look, even though me and mine, I got might agree on certain topics and disagree on certain topics, hey, look, at the end of the day, I could be wrong, he could be wrong, but when Yahushua returns, or who the world calls Christ, when he returns, we're going to find out
Yeah,
who was right, but we're not going to know until that time. Right. So there's certain
correct.
things that I could be off on, and there's certain things that he could be off on. Right. But when Christ returns, we will find out the entire truth when Christ returns. But until then, we won't know. Right. So, hey, we just got to, continue in on our path for truth, because we're all going to see this differently. Say, for an example, just like, let me see if I can pull it up. Just like Creation Bear said, I'll read it again. He said, I knew, right, in quotation marks, because he thought he knew that there was going to be a fake alien invasion in early 2021. But then he learned about the chariots, right? So that's how we got to look at this thing. This is
Exactly,
all a learning. Hey,
exactly.
look, I'm not the same man as I am today than who I was 3 years ago. And hell, I wasn't the same as it was 3 years ago from 5 years ago, right? So this is about, learning and getting more experience. All right. And that's why I always teach to people that what you should, take your time and read the Bible, right? Actually
100%.
read the entire book, right? Read it like for one time, just so you can understand the Christian perspective. Read it one time front to back to get the perspective of the church, so
Yeah,
you understand how they read it. But we understand that the proper way to understand the text is to go precept upon precept, here a little and there a little, right? But it'd be good to read it once as a chapter book so you can understand the average person's perspective. You know what I'm saying? I'll throw back to you.
yeah. And I'll read Revelation 1:7, man. This is what we're all waiting for. Behold, he cometh with clouds. Again, those are chariots, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, which supports reincarnation, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. This one verse has so much information that ITR would be confounded. Okay, and they'll just make up stuff. We don't make up anything. We read this and we believe that this is literal. Okay, those UFOs are interacting with the clouds, so that's literal. And listen to this: and all earth and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Why would they wail when somebody who is hung on the cross, a righteous entity hung on the cross in return? Why would the world have a problem with that? You know what I mean? Just think about this logically. There's a pure person in the sky. Why would we get mad? Oh my gosh, there's somebody pure in the sky. Why would they wail because of him? Because only a few people want this to happen. Okay? Very, very few people. And so that's okay, And then we're in the know. And so there's something unique about us. Okay. We don't talk down to other people. We're just excited about that. And why, like, just from a practical perspective, why would somebody not want that? So that's the world that we live in. That's why ETT and I both understand we live in hell. All these people are deceivers. Okay. They're going to take the Bible and say, no, that's not, clouds doesn't mean that. Nope. That all doesn't mean all. Nope. Okay. No, none of that. Okay. And so that's crazy, in my opinion, in these days. So it is funny because that's so stupid. But that's what we're waiting for, 100%.
Right, right. And the verse that Mind of God brought up, right? It says what? That he's gonna come on the clouds, right? So what are the clouds? Are they actually the white things that we see in the sky above us? No, it ain't talking about that. Because it also says
Yeah.
that Christ is gonna come on the white horse, but in other verses it says on a chariot. So what one is it? And the answer to that question is it's parabolic and basically means the UFOs, even though it mentions in one verse it say a cloud, one verse it says a horse, but another verse it says a chariot. Right? It's a parabolic or metaphorical talk. But these
Yeah.
guys in ITOs, they said, whether there's actually a woman that's on an actual beast with 7 heads
That's
somewhere. That's
insane.
all literal. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. And for preterists, they'll believe that this happened, right? When they were pierced, when he was pierced in that generation. But then how could all kindreds of the earth wail because of him? Why would they have a problem? Let's say that he returned during that time that he was pierced afterwards, and they were the people who actually did it are seeing it. How does that make sense that all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him? Why would they have a problem with that? You know what I mean? Like, what's their beef with God? In that time, that can only happen in the times that we live in now, where the entire earth is run by a beast. Job 9:24.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it
Yeah,
doesn't make
absolutely,
sense.
man. That's a very good, point to bring up, man. But hey, at the end of the day, the way we got to look at it, and I always look at it this way, as we just got to consider ourselves lucky because hey, look,
100%.
out of why did it have to be us out of the hundreds of millions of other people who are alive today, right? The billions
Yeah.
of other human beings alive today who have no idea about any of this information that we know. Say, hey, look, we got to consider ourselves lucky, right? In other words, the tide tips in our favor
Big time.
that we were the ones who were chosen to understand at least a portion of these great understandings and these great mysteries
Agreed.
of the scriptures, right?
100%.
So
And
that's
not only
just
that, dude, it's obvious to you and I. It's obvious. That's an even bigger. I don't want to cut you off. Back to you, but it's obvious to us.
yeah. I was done, man. You can continue with your statement.
Yeah, man, that's amazing, dude. Yeah, we can have a little we can go through the main topics maybe people are dealing with. You can brainstorm some things maybe people have issues with the Bible, like, in the last days, because we're getting down to the wire. I'll brainstorm a few topics, and I think it'll be good, because like this is real, man. I don't know what to say. Like, for all of us, these words, Revelation 1:7 is not in a future generation. ET and I will agree with that. It's in this generation. We can't tell you the day. Wish we could, but we can't.
Right, absolutely. And as I said, one thing we'll agree on is that hey, look, it certainly has to be soon. Like I mean, hey, look, if you ask me, which I do know that the scriptures say what, that no man knows the day or the hour, right? So
Yeah,
somebody would say that and say, oh, well, see, well, we don't know if we're in those times. Well, hey, the scriptures say you'll know by the signs. In fact, it tells you in Matthew 24, what that Christ gives a parable of when you see that everything that's going on, you'll be able to tell it this is the very same time, right? I mean, hell, what is that? Second Ezra's 9th chapter, right?
I'll
When there
read
should
that
be
one.
seen earthquakes and uproars. Yeah, go ahead and get that. But the point is, I was going to say that, hey, look, if you ask me, I'll say, hell, all of this could go down within, I would say, the next year or two. I can't
Yeah.
see this place going on any longer. As a matter of fact, I was watching the Horace video, and he said, hey, look, we could be out of here by the end of this year, is what the horse said in one of his latest
Whoa!
videos.
Which video did he say that, dude? You got to send me that, man.
Hey, I'll send you the video, man. But he was like, from my memory, he was like, hey, look, by the way that things are going, we could be out of here by the end of this year. If not this year, then by the end of next year. So I mean, wow,
Ooh,
that's
ooh. A call for an uprising on his video today said, "This is it." It made me smile, man. I'm not even kidding. The video call for an uprising posted today. He said, "Guys, I can't barely make videos. I don't have the energy." He's like, "This is it." And what did Ken
yeah,
Hovind say? This is it. So people are
yeah,
watching our streams, man. Like, they know what's going on, man. T-Mog and ETT are about to be famous, man. Like famous, famous. I'm
Right,
just
right,
kidding. I'm just messing with
absolutely.
you, dude. I'm just kidding. But they did. But he did say this is it, and I'm gonna watch that link, man. You got to send me that with Tahar, man. I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, man, I'll definitely send it. Let's see. Creation Bear said, "My radar says this year," which you could be right. But hey, look, we're gonna have to just wait and see what happens. Because hell, look, we're
Yeah.
literally what are we? We're literally halfway through the year. I mean, hell, it feels like it was New Year's yesterday. I remember what I was doing on New Year's. Feels like yesterday, but here we are, an entire halfway through the year. So
Yeah.
before you know it, it's going to be New Year's again, right? So hey, look, we don't know what's going to happen. It could be 2 years from now. It could be next year. It could be that by the end of this year, as the horror made a statement and said it could
Wow.
be. We don't know what the hell's going on. We just gotta wait and see, right? That's why we're just waiting and watching what's going on in the world. But hey, look, going by what the scriptures say, says what? The mind of God's going to read the verse for us, but
Mhm.
we can see by the signs that something's going on. I'll throw back.
Yeah. Second Ezra 9:2 for numerology people. That's 9 times 2, 18, 666. That was taught first by Mind of God channel. I can't remember what year. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you. ETT brought that out. Second Ezra 9:2. Thou shalt then shalt thou understand. Who's going to understand this? A very, very small group of people. That it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world that he has made. Can you imagine if all this 666, 33, and all that was just like the government trolling? All the stuff that we see. Like, are you kidding me? Come on, man. Yahushai is going to visit his world. The highest is going to visit his world through his son, and we could not be happier. Does
Right,
everybody
right.
like
And keep
eating the
in mind,
garbage food? We don't want to be a slave. The women leading
right,
us and all that.
absolutely.
We don't want that.
Yes. Sorry to cut you
That's
off,
it.
man. But
That's it.
as I was gonna say, if you read the verses, it says what? That he shall begin. Right? He's gonna begin. That means what?
Right.
He's gonna visual visit. Time after time is going to begin to start to visit the world. Why? And that's why that we're now coming into the beginning of sorrows, right? Where things are now starting to get even worse. As you can look at the world, man, they tell you that what by 2050, they say, if my memory serves me correct, they said there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than sea life. So I mean, hey, look, this man has to be taken out of power, man. This place has to be taken down out of rulership because this place is
Absolutely.
literally destroying the world. And hey, look, the earth is fighting back right now. The earth is fighting back against this man. And how do you know that? Because of all these earthquakes that's going on. Of course, it's all by the Lord. But look, the Lord's allowing the earth to now take a vengeance upon the inhabitants because the scriptures say what? The earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, right? So the earth is now starting to for lack of better words, the earth is mad right now, right? The
Yeah.
Lord's allowing the earth to punish the people who are dwelling on it. That's why you have all these tsunamis, these wildfires that are going on right now, all these earthquakes, all these massive die-offs of all these sea creatures and birds. That is it's evident, man, with the time that we're in right now. But yet you still have fools out there who will pretend, oh, people have been saying that for hundreds of years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they didn't have the MO
Yeah, yeah.
TB. I just put a pause in there for the algorithm, but we didn't have that brewing. Okay, like that's where Sakari really I lost a lot of respect, even though I enjoyed talking to them a bit more than others. But even Tahar said, and I mirrored a video on my channel. He said, "You got to treat this like it is it." Everybody knows what I'm talking about. So shout out to Tahar. At least he's warning his people. Sakari, man, guys, you got to get out of the club, man. Like, dude, it's like easy. Okay, I mean, it's like how more obvious could it be, man? Come on, dude. Shout out the
Right. And the
deacon, man.
horse said, yeah, the hard said because somebody asked him a question, is this thing the, MO, just as you said, and Tahar said, hey, look, it could be. He
Yeah.
said it could be, and he's right.
He
Hey,
said
look,
he
but
said
the
you
point
should
of the
consider
matter,
it. To quote him, you should consider that it is. And I'm like, that's perfect. That's what he should do. We have to go consider it now. So yeah, exactly.
right, absolutely. And then as I was saying in another video he did, he said, yeah, yeah, this certainly could be, but we're all gonna have to wait and see. Because hey, look, it's coming down to the wire right now, man. Because hey, look, very soon, and we always
Yeah.
go into this, we sound like broken records, but very soon you're not going to be able to go into an establishment without proving that you've, got the thing.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
hey, look, man, for all the brothers out there, man, hey, look, we just gotta, hey, we just gotta remain strong in this thing of ours, and we can't go along with everything that's going on right now. Because hey, look, all the world walking in that one direction, but we're gonna go the other way. We're gonna follow what the text says. We're gonna go and follow Yahushua, even though that's not gonna be easy. That's the path of difficulty that is set before us, right? The scriptures say, "What, my son, if you come to serve the Lord, you better prepare your soul for temptation." And you know what? Instead of we're not like these Christian church out here that's trying to rob you of your money. We're not out there
Exactly.
doing that. We're out
Exactly.
here giving you this knowledge for free. All right. But hey, look, we're going to tell you, hey, look, you better consider before you come into this thing. Because of course, what is that? Luke 9:62, right? Any man who puts his hands to the plow and he looks back, well, he's not fit for the kingdom, right? So before you come into this thing of ours, as Apostle Gabar calls it, which of course, much sincere respect to the elder apostle, but hey, look, you better seriously think before you put your hand to this thing, man, because hey, look, you're going to take some losses on this side, if you really are sincere about this. So everybody got to consider that before you come into this truth. But if you ask me, I'll tell you, hey, look, you better make up that choice, man, and you better choose this truth, man, because hey, look, as Mind of God likes to say, the Bible's looking pretty good right now. I'll
Big
throw it
time.
back to you.
Here's a good verse, man, for people to have comfort and encouragement. We might have to lose everything. That's what he's saying, and that's true for 100%. Colossians 3:23-34. And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not unto men. Listen to this, and not unto men. Verse 24, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the word of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Christ. Okay. That's why we do it. We don't care what the government says. Okay, the government's stupid, man. So that's what we do, man. What that inheritance, how we can't even understand what it is. So how good would it be? It's coming from God who made all of this. So that's
Right, and
amazing.
that's going to be a hard, step for us to take because we're going to have to. Some of us are going to lose all of that we have on this side. We might have to go homeless, because of what's going on right now. But hey, look, as the scriptures say, what that hey, he that loses his life, he's going to find it, right? So those of us who lost our life, and it's not necessarily talking about physical, which for some people it is, but it's talking about what we put our life on the line, literal and metaphorical, as in what, hey, look, it's not about what ETT wants to continue his future living here. No, it ain't for that, because hell, look, I'm young. I could go and start my own business, and make myself, a pretty bank account, here in Babylon the Great and enjoy my life. But you know what? I'm not going to do that. You know why? Because this place is going down, right? So I'm going to put my belief and my trust in this book here. Why? Because hey, the scriptures say what? The word of the Lord is faithful and true, right? So we're seeing these prophecies coming to pass. So you know what? I'm not going to build myself up in this current kingdom,
Yeah.
but as the scriptures say, what? Store up for yourself spiritual treasures in heaven. And that's what we're looking for. Okay, that's why in what is that, Matthew the 19th chapter, the apostles asked Christ, what are we going to gain for following you? He said, hey, look, everything that you lost on this side, you're going to gain it back 100%. Right. So that's the goal at the end of the day, is to make it into the kingdom. Right. That's our goal at the end of the day, is to make it into the kingdom. And hey, look, I'm also going to say this. You can look up to us, me, mine of God, or any other brother out there. You can look up to us, to get your questions answered and for inspiration. Like I talk with our one brother, what's that brother, Dasan, right? I call him on the phone and talk to him, to make sure he's doing all good. But hey, look, at the end of the day, I can't save you. You can't save me. Every
Right.
man has to work out his own salvation. Because, hey, look, mighty God might make it, but I might be destroyed in that second death. Or it could be vice versa. I might make it, but mighty God might be destroyed. We don't know what's going to happen.
But you
But that's
promised me
why
you'll
all
take
of
care of me,
us.
man. I'll get to golf, right? If you're my leader. So that's on record.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool,
I'm
man.
just kidding.
All that's cool.
I don't want to interrupt. Just joking.
Yeah, yeah, man. As I was saying, you know, um, that's just the way we got to look at it. We all have to work out our own,
Right. Right.
path in this truth of ours, man. Because hey, look, you know, really at the end of the day, man, hey, look, even though we all have, people to talk to, whether they be in this truth or out of the truth, at the end of the day, it's every man for himself in this ministry of ours. We all have to receive our own salvation and I can't save you, you can't save me. We can all be there to give inspiration to one another. But at the end of the day, if you're faking this and you're not really sincere about the Lord,
Right.
then hey, look, well then you ain't gonna make it. And that goes for all of us. That goes for me, mind of God. It goes for Fresh and New, Creation Bear, and everybody else that's watching. That goes for all of us. I'll throw back to mind of God.
Yeah, and that's why those guys like ITR, it's we know just by their spirit, they could teach us something. They may bring us something new that we haven't thought of, but their spirit's not right. So that's not what I do, and that's not in my channel. Like I definitely come across mean and angry because I hate this place, and YouTube's filled with trolls. But for the few people that are sincere out there, what he's saying is absolutely correct. When those UFOs, which are clouds described as clouds in the Bible, are in the sky, nothing matters anymore. Nothing matters. How much money you have, what you quoted, your car, nothing. Okay. Oh, I'm part of Sakari. I'm part of Sakari. I'm part of GMS. It does not matter. Okay. And so that's what it is. So we have to make sure that if that event happens, which I believe certainly within the next 5 years, okay, like you don't have to go with my predictions, definitely within the next few years, we're essentially coming face to face with God. So, yeah, man, it's amazing.
Yeah, Creation Bear said, "My life is 100% behind this." Right, absolutely, man. Hey, look, we're at the point right now where, hey, look, you can't be, as the Bible would refer to it, as lukewarm, right? You have to be either you're in it or you're not, and we're gonna find
Exactly.
out really soon. We're very soon. We're gonna find out who the Lord's dealing with and who He's not dealing with, because hey, look, every one of us are gonna have to be tried in this truth, right? My temptations are going to be different from yours. Yours will be different from mine. Hey, look, the Lord knows all of us. He knows what can piss us off and possibly bug us out. Right. So hey, look, He's going to put us through certain situations to test us, right? And that goes for all of us. I'm not exempt from that. You're not. Every one of us is. But there's a great test that's coming upon all of us here, which is what this mo. I don't say that, but
Right.
the hour of temptation is coming upon not only us, but upon the entire world, because the entire world is about to be tried. What is that? Revelation, I believe that's 3 and 10, right? The hour of temptation, which
Yep.
is the time that we're coming into right now.
100%.
Look who we have. Let me put a link in the chat real quick. Hold on.
I'll read two
ConCave Earth
verses while you do
Christians.
that. Can I read two verses while you do that? That's it. Those are good
Go
ones.
ahead.
Matthew 12:30. He that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad. So there's God only has a left and a right hand side. This is my next lesson that I'm going to do. There's only two sides. He only has a left and a right hand side. That's it. Okay. There's no third side or like the Hindu gods. They have like 100 arms or anything like that. That's not the God of the Bible. So we have to make sure we're on the right side. I'll read Revelation 3:10. That's a good one that ETT brought out. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will keep thee from the hour of temptation. Listen to this, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon all the earth. When has that ever happened in human history? This also cuts preterism. When has the entire earth been simultaneously been tried? I ask you, preterists out there, when has that happened? What event? Show us the history books. That's coming. It's happening really right now, really, I would say.
Right, right. Hey, look, we got ConCave Earth Christians in the chat. He asked for
Ooh.
a link. Hey, if you're still on, I don't know if you left, but if you're still on, click that link. Right. Hey, look, man, we want to have a friendly talk with you, man. Right. We're not going to yell at you. We're not going to do any of that. We just want to bring you on for a friendly talk. So I put a link in the chat for you. I don't know if you just stopped by and put that there and left. I don't know. But if you're still listening, there is a link in the chat for you down there. But if not, if you don't join, because maybe you're not here at the moment, but I'll definitely try to get you into the next one, man. Oh, hey, you're still here. I see. Concave Earth Christians, since you're still here, click that link. We only have maybe 15 minutes left of the show tonight because my time is running out. So click that link, brother, and we can talk with you for maybe 15, 20 minutes, man. Okay, so go ahead and hit that when you're ready. I'll throw back to my guy.
Yeah, I'm just making my video or thumbnail for tomorrow. So for people out there, join me and ETT tomorrow. I'll put his picture in the thumbnail too, so people know what we're going to be doing. Is we're going to be bringing out the Bible. No theater. We just want to teach people the basic concepts that him and I agree on, which is a good chunk, 75%. and maybe we can discuss the others. But join us tomorrow. Look forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Which we're gonna go for a little longer here. I want to try to bring ConCave Earth Christians in, right? As I said, man, there's a link in the chat for you. Click that, and I'll bring you on to talk with us. But if not, we can arrange another day to bring you on because we want to talk with you, man. Because you said that you're Christ, right? You said that you are the Christ. Mighty God, what do you got to say to that?
He better know a lot. So we're gonna have a lot of questions for you, man. That's deep. We're gonna talk about reincarnation. We're gonna talk about hell. We're gonna talk about the end times. Man, if we got Yahushua here on the show, we got a lot to ask, man. I want to know about my future, man. I want to know about my past. I want to know about
I
a
mean,
lot of things.
hell, hear me out. Hear me out. I mean, hell, maybe he is Christ. That could be true. But how do we know unless you come on and we can talk? Okay, he said, I'll be joining in 1 minute. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. I thank you very much for joining on. And I'll say this, Concave Earth Christians, for a while I thought, oh man, why is this guy not joining? But hey, look, if you actually do join, I will say this, I will respect you that you were able to come on here and talk with us. I will give you my respect, even though I disagree with you. I will give you my respect because you did click the link and are willing to discuss with us. Because as I said, brother, you could be right, but unless we can talk and reason together, how do I know if you're right or wrong? You know what I'm
Here's
saying?
a good verse, ETT, before he joins. 1 John 4:1, beloved. And every time ITR said beloved, it creeps me out. Okay, so just don't say that. And ETT, do not say skip G's, and we'll be fine tomorrow. 1 John 4:1, beloved, believe not every spirit. Listen to this, but try the spirits, whether they are of God. So we have a person who thinks he is God. Okay, so we're going to try the spirits, whether they are of God, because many
Hey,
false prophets are gone out in the world.
hey, we got Concave Earth Christians on here with us. What's going on, man?
We'll be fine tomorrow.
Hey,
First
brother.
John 4:1, beloved.
Hey, man, if you can mute the back for you because it's a little static for us in the back. It's echoing.
Yeah, mute your watch page because that's me.
Yeah, done.
So, man, yeah, we I know a little bit about you. So, how summarize your position so we know what your stance is on certain things, even end times as well. If you can talk about that.
Okay, well, for a start, I could hear what you were saying, and when when I'm saying that I'm saying that I'm the Son of Man, and when I say that, people just automatically just start thinking Jesus Christ, and if you have limited knowledge, if you have a closed mind, you stay bound to what you're previously aware of. So when you think of Christ, it's almost like the white people think he's white, the black people think he's black, and everybody thinks that he's going to be coming back, maybe from the sky, and to deal with his enemy in like 5 minutes or an hour, and that somehow that will be a portion of the enemy while he protects like the state of Israel, and that actually, without being too aware of it, all the truth seekers that are paying attention and aware of prophecy, they're, without really being aware of it, they are banking on a media sensation just swinging round and alerting them to the God-man flew down to Israel. And what I've done is I'm the Son of Man, and I'm very natural. Haven't embraced the new age that we're in. So
All right, hey, brother, not to cut you off real quick. I do want to say, we don't have too much time left because my time that I use on this platform is running out. But I do want to have you on, which we'll talk for another 15 minutes here because I really want to talk with you. But we do want to have you on for a whole nother separate show, man. So if you can, agree to send us a message on say what is it? Send us an email at our Gmail. We want to do a whole show with you, man, so we can talk for maybe a good 2 or 3 hours, man. But that would be good. I really want to do that with you. But if we can, for the time what we have, let's keep our commentary and maybe a minute each, just so we all can get a chance to interact. So, mind of God, do you have anything
Yeah,
that you want to ask this brother?
can we just get to the
Go ahead.
money? Could you just get to the money, because ETT is running low on minutes. What is your position on the MOTB, which is we refer to as the mark of the beast? Please do not use the term anything. We call it the thing if you're going to refer to the narrative. So if you can just generally give us an understanding of what your understanding on that is, or do you believe it's already happened in history?
And remember, don't use the exact words. Just refer to it as the thing for now, please.
Yeah, it hasn't occurred. It's just round the corner. It's about to be put on when it might be Prince William. It might be after Elizabeth dies, but it will be one body or agent that's a ruler that will say that everyone now has to have this mark to be at least buying and selling. So that always had me thinking that it must be linked directly to the banks, the banking system. But
Mhm.
we are actually seeing this vaccine approach.
Hey,
And so,
brother,
Sorry,
please
yeah,
don't
just
use that word on the
just
show for future reference, man, because you'll
call
get
it the thing. Just call it the thing.
yeah.
Not that.
okay, well, yeah, it's just round the corner.
Okay, so you would be more of the position that it's a microchip.
What I just want to say is just so that you can loosen up on how you're interpreting what you're expecting of prophecy and how you're looking out for how things might actually be what it is that you're looking at. So you're looking for things that parallel a prophecy. The mainstream will try to keep you from when it is being fulfilled. So don't be bound too much by chronology. And I just want to let you both be aware that there has been a massive deception with the quote unquote Christian prophecy, and that it's all themed around battle at Armageddon, when the whole thing is the campaign of Armageddon. Now, be aware of that and make a mental note to look into it. The campaign of Armageddon, and actually the etymological root meaning for Armageddon, what that is. It's not just a battleground where a battle took place. The words mean that God will sow, and it pertains to the Son of Man sowing the good seed. And Christian concavers is this campaign for the world, because concave Earth is the truth. The flat Earth models are just
Okay, brother. I just want to make sure we all get a chance to talk. So I just want to make sure when each of us talk, let's just make it a minute, so we can
okay.
make sure everyone else has the turn to talk. But I just want to ask this question, and as I said, just make it as short as you can. So just so I know, right? Are you the Messiah today on earth? Yes or no? I just want to know that.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so you did return. Okay, so are we living in your kingdom today on earth?
Well, you said you did return. For me, I don't feel like I've been before. Like Jesus, the last time, made it clear that when he said "I am," he was kind of saying that he's lived before his incarnation. That first time, he was saying that he had lived before. For me, I feel just like everyone else, and actually, the Matrix movie and Neo in the Matrix is a big parallel of all this thing, because I was a born again Christian, was born again, sort of submitted to the Father and the Son, and carried on without knowing to be anyone else. And then I know that I've demonstrated it, and I know that I lead, and you'll be able to see it if you investigate. But it's come time where I've sort of seen the parallel in the prophecy with what's going on in the war, and with everything else that's going on, like my dreams Obviously all along I've been praying for answers, but it's come to a time where I've realized that sort of everything's there. It's staring us in the face. I just don't have some of the abilities Jesus used to have, and I don't have memory of being anyone else. And I just want to add as well that they'd already given you LSC, Lord Stephen
Wait,
Christ.
concave, time out, dude. Not to be rude, but like this is sort of rambling. Now, I have a question. Do you have a question for me, an end times teacher? First of all, do you understand the position that we take on certain topics? And first of all, what drew you to come here and teach us of your various teachings? What questions?
And as I said, brother, please keep it at maybe just a minute, because as I said, we're running on a very low time here, so I just want to make sure we all can talk. All right.
Okay. Well, I declared myself the king of truth. I've been unemployed in the system and have been looking at truthers and what I call trolls, the fake truthers, the controlled opposition network. There is a gatekeeping network to keep everyone from ConCave Earth. I've been putting cases together and showing that there are fake flat earthers that lead the movement. It's been going on since the days of the founding of the Flat Earth Society. I found...
But we know that.
Yeah.
But wait a second. We already know that. So I don't know what let's say a person were then to go to concave, what will that add? Like what does that bring? We already know that we know from the Bible, not just that, I'll double down, I'll tell you the entire leadership on earth is run by evil people. The Bible says that.
Yeah, the Masons now.
No, not just the Masons. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, according to Job 9:24. The entire earth. So of course the flat earth community is run by evil people. We know that.
Well, what's going on is that there was the hybrids. There was the hybrid elite. So the fallen angels had given advantage and forbidden knowledge to these hybrids. There was the flood, but the exact same thing's happening again, where there's this elite network that work with the fallen and they're empowered. So the Rothschilds.
Well, wait, time out. You're saying a lot of terms. We believe. 1 second. You're saying a lot of words. The fallen angels are the elect, are righteous people. So you're viewing the elect as bad people, but me, I don't know if ETT would agree with this, but the quote fallen angels are God's elect, the 144,000.
Yeah, brother. Concave, as I said, man, we have a lot we want to talk about, but we do have to try to keep it and within like 20 minutes. So, brother, let me just finish my statement real quick.
The creator
Go ahead.
has the angels. A third of the angels were cast out. The fallen angels were the ones that rebelled, that cast out.
What verse?
Can you show me that in the Bible? What verse says that angels were cast out of heaven? Can you please show me the verse that says that?
Satan is the chief fallen angel. When it's being referenced like it's a character, like the adversary, the leader, it's Gadriel. The word God has come from the elite swapping and giving people words for the creator instead of having the name or Elohim. Jesus referred to God as the Father, always the Father. Jesus always referred to the Father, and he wants his Christians to follow suit. What you're actually supposed to do is find Jesus, then be born again, and then, because you've humbled under Jesus, you're Jesus's brother or sister, and his father is then your father. So you're not supposed to be trying to say Yahweh or Yahweh. In fact, Yehoshua, Yahushai, it means he saves. It's the Old Testament name of the prophesied one to come, that he comes to be the savior. Jesus comes back with a new name. Now, if it's me, I don't remember it. And it's like that's a trick and a snare for everyone, where what you're wanting is someone to say, I'm Jesus, and then 50,000 people all say, we all agree, and take some photos, and then you will agree. When you need to see that what I teach is the truth, and that I'm the spiritual leader and the shepherd, and that at my cause is the Holy Kingdom, whether I say I'm a name or not. Do you understand?
Okay, brother, what you're saying is I hear that, brother. You could be right, but we're just trying to discuss with you to see that. Now, as I said, I'll say it for the fourth time. We do want to have a in-length discussion with you. So if you would like to come back maybe on Mind of God's channel, we can have a whole 3-hour discussion with you, because we really want to discuss with you, brother. But for tonight, since I only have a limited time, I just want to keep it maybe 1 minute responses from all of us so we can all talk. So I just want to ask you a question. I've read the Bible twice, right? Can you show me anywhere in the text where it says that Satan fell from heaven and all the angels were cast out with him? Because I haven't seen that in there.
It's
All right,
not
so
in
I
there.
just want to know if you
Yeah,
could show me.
basically, it's in Genesis. There's the references to it's a two-seed war, and it's the serpent seed, but it's the fallen angel. The word serpent's being used. There's references in Genesis 3 and Genesis 6 about what happened with Eve and the serpent. Actually, in the gospel, according to Philip, that's kept out of the canon and then dubbed as Gnostic, is saying that Father's the innermost at the center of concave earth, and it's saying that Cain didn't come from Adam. Enoch is explaining all of it, all the interactions between the fallen angels, the hybridization of like 200 of them that went into women. There's 3 books of Enoch. It's just the first one that's legitimate. That prophecy is backed up by Jude about the Son of Man that's in there as well. Paul's false. The book of Acts and Peter go with the Pauline doctrine that's all false.
Wait, sorry,
Brother, can we just
Revelation?
I mean, the problem, ConCave Earth. I don't know if you understand. Listen, 1 second. I don't know if you understand. You're having a conversation with 2 other people. You start with one thing and go down like basically 50 different points. Then we don't even understand, first of all, what you're saying, and we don't get to address any of those points. So, are you aware that there are 2 other people on this panel?
I'm short for time, and you can play this back and hear it again, and I'm planting seeds for you to go and listen and check.
But we don't
brother,
understand what you're saying.
Brother, we hear you. We just want to ask you certain questions. We're just trying to discuss with you, brother. I understand what you're saying. Brother, please don't cut me off while I'm talking, brother.
In Luke, it says Satan fell as lightning. It's the fallen angels. They were cast out of heaven. It's a third of the angels. They're the fallen. That's their kingdom. The elites are under the fallen angels. I lead the holy angels. It's my kingdom for born-again Christians.
Brother, I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, brother. Do you agree that God makes good and evil, or is Satan the one who evil originated from? Just a short answer, please.
Yeah, that debunks that whole thing.
I don't personally think that God makes evil. God can like exact revenge. God's responsible for creating the option for evil and those that have conducted the evil, but he hasn't pushed them into the evil.
I'll get the verse, ETT. I already know which one you're talking about. Isaiah 45:7. You have to understand, this is why I'm not trying to be rude to you, but if you come here, it's not wrong for us to debate, but you got to understand our position. I mean, ETT and I agree on a few things. Isaiah 45:7, we take a lot of the Bible literally, and this we take literally. Listen to this. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. Listen to this. I, the Lord, do all these things. So are you the one that's doing this, or is it the Lord that made evil? You're competing with this Lord. Which one's the right one? Who do we trust? Because Isaiah 45:7 says God makes evil.
Well, it's how he's like wording it, you know, it's what it means. Because if you just run with that line, then what you're saying is that evil's good and that God promotes evil.
It is. That's a great point. Great point. Actually, that's a great point. Let me read another verse related to that.
Concave, you got to let man of God talk, brother. You got to let him bring out his point.
Lack of the light, but evil's like an extremity where but God's created the ability for it there.
Yeah, let me answer it and I'll pass it back. I'm not trying to cut you off. You made it actually an excellent point. Your point is very, very deep, actually. Then it must be righteous because it's coming from the highest who's pure, right? That's the way we understand. So listen to this. Revelation 4:11, thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for thou hast created all things, good and evil. Listen to this. And for thy pleasure, they are and were created. So yes, somehow this is pleasurable for God. We don't know the full answer. Okay.
Hey, my brother, ConCave Earth, I got a question for you. Do you know that the Bible says that when Christ comes back, he's going to kill little children? Do you know that? Do you agree with the text? Man of God, you know what I'm talking about. Pull that up real quick.
Yeah, in Psalms.
Yeah. So before you respond, brother, we're just going to read the verse to you just so you can understand why I make that statement. And again, brother, as I said, we do want to have you back on the show for a
Before you
intense
read it,
discussion on this.
before you read
Brother,
it,
hold on. Let us just
can I
bring out
just
the text and then I'll let you talk,
can I
brother.
just remind you as well before you read it of in Revelation, it's talking about Jezebel and being cast on a bed, and that she's been warned to repent, and if she doesn't, that her children would be killed, and that everyone would know that it's him that searches the hearts.
Yeah, this verse will
God,
prove
you got that?
Yeah, that is generational. I think you got that reference a little wrong, but you're correct. It's generational. Psalm 137:9. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones.
Right.
I can
And
get
then if
that
you go
Jezebel
to
verse if you want, with the sick bed.
no, that's all right, man. When you go to let me give an example. What is that? Ezekiel 9 and 6, right? Go for the midst of the city and kill both maids and little children, right? So, do you agree that is the God of the Bible wicked for doing that, or do you agree that's righteous to do in that circumstance? Just a small answer, please.
The creator can do what he wants. If God's saying something's righteous, then it is. But you've got to be careful with translations of books and what's being meant. That's why Jesus came, and it trumps the Old Testament. So as much as you might highly regard Psalms, Jesus is the Son of God. It's the Word of God. And Jesus was sort of at odds, trying to sort of, like, everyone's been given a few laws and they've run off mad with doctrines and traditions where Jesus was the Son of God, but also like the Son of Man, trying to just remove everyone's conditioning and what they're used to. So throughout the ages, the different people that have chipped in to the scriptures have had some sort of their themselves that they've brought to it. So we're
All
not
right,
to
brother.
follow, not following
Yeah,
I
I mean,
accept your answer. I just want to make sure, real quick. I just want to make sure something, right? So you said it. You are Christ, right? And you did return. Okay, good. I accept that answer. I just want to know one thing. Man of God, can you pull up for me? What is that? Isaiah 66 and verse 15, and
yeah,
we'll
I'm
read
there.
that.
I'm
So
there.
I just want to know, brother. All right, Concave. I just want to know, brother. When did this happen, right? When in history did this happen, right? Because it says that the Lord is going to come this way. I just want to read this real quick, and then I just want you to give me an explanation. Because hell, I could be wrong, but just show me, how I can understand this. Mind of God, you got that for
Yeah,
us?
Isaiah 66:15-17. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh. Important term. And the slain of the Lord shall be many. Verse 17. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination of the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord.
What do you think about that, Concave Earth Christians? Did that happen before in history when you came, or I just want to know about that?
It's spiritual language. It's not visual. It's like in the book of Revelation. Exactly what you've read there is very similar to what's in Revelation 19:11-16. It's very visual, physical. It's saying that he's the one coming out of heaven, or he's on horses and is raging at war, and then it's talking about like fire, like this powerful thing that burns or destroys, and then the sword, like in Revelation, it's talking about the sword of his mouth. But I'm a shepherd. I've sown a good seed. In Isaiah 63:1-8, it's explaining that he's furious alone, wanting help, and that he looks to come from Edom. And you yourself said that I'm an Edomite, and I've been furious alone, wanting help.
I can read that. That's a good one too. It describes ET and I would say that this describes the same thing, but Isaiah
Man of
62.
God, you have any? Because we got to wrap up soon, but I am enjoying this conversation. Man of God, you have any questions that you want to throw at this brother?
Yeah,
And as I said, real quick before you say that,
yeah.
as I said, brother Concave, we want to bring you on Mind of God's channel, and we can have a full 3-hour discussion on these topics, brother. You know, as I said, tonight we don't have as much time because my time's limited. But as I said, brother, we want to bring you back on, and we can all have a civil discussion together, brother, because we really do want to talk with you, right? We think we can have a good chat. So if you'll be willing to come back on Mind of God's channel, you know, in a day or two, maybe we can have a full discussion, you know, on these matters, brother.
Here's what
Okay,
I
that
would
that would
say.
be good.
Sorry to
Go ahead.
interrupt,
Excellent. That'd be
ET. Sorry
great.
to
Yeah.
interrupt. Here's what I would say. Here's what I would say. ET and I tomorrow are going to go through basically a list of topics and support it with the Bible. That would be a good one if you don't mind listening to that first. And then in the future, since then you'll have a better understanding of what we believe, then I think we could have a much better discussion. But yeah, I have no issues with what he just said.
I'd be pretty much good to go. You know, if you want me to sort of leave, just say right. You know, just we're gonna have to say goodbye for tonight. So I'm happy to talk till you just want to kick me off. You know, I won't be offended. But
No,
I
no,
just,
we're not
You're
kicking you off.
cool.
We're
You're
not
I
kicking
cool,
just
you off.
man.
want to say to you guys that I've studied the models, and it took me a while to be able to accept and understand and see the proofs for concave. So I myself was, I understood that there's the working model there, but I had to understand, like, is there really that curvature there, and how do you explain the what we know as gravity and all this kind of stuff? And I found every bit of evidence that you need to support the model. I just want to
So
say that
you believe just to ask you about that, you believe water bends kind of like in a
yes,
downward way?
just like you see waves, that waves curve, and that there's the whole thing, like you're talking like the whole Earth. Yeah, that curvature's there, that it goes the other way to what they've said. So
Okay, but you believe water bends in a downward way kind of thing, not in a bulge.
it bends both ways in waves, but the way that it's curving because of the Earth is with concavity. But the water can bend anyways. It's just it needs to be conforming to a shape, or there's some sort of pressure or force making it change shape.
Okay, but you don't believe the Earth spins, right, or flies
No,
through space
no,
or anything like
the
that?
Earth's stationary.
Okay, good. Okay, so we at least agree on that. That's good. Let's get a hand clap for that. So we all agree. That's
Well,
one thing that we all three
Chirag,
agree on.
Chirag,
Yeah.
you know, in Gospel according to John, it's recorded Jesus is asked by Philip, where is the Father? That's where Jesus is explaining that his Father has a house with many mansions.
Yes.
LSC was providing not just CGI, but CMOR radar imagery of it. Guys, I was way in front of you and ahead of you, above you 3.5 years ago. You're just late. Just check out ConCave Earth and hurry up and drop your flat crap trap.
No, I have no issues. We're not attacking you. We're just trying to understand your position. We're not speaking. We're just trying to understand what you believe and what we believe. ET and I do not know the full structure of the Earth. We've never seen it.
I know it's concave, but I did used to naively believe the globe lie. It took me two years to get through flat Earth to knowing it's concave.
Okay,
But
that's cool.
Since calling it out, that LSC was gatekeeping with a network of flat earther agents, and the Facebook, their admin and elite kids run flat earth groups, and the concave earth comments get deleted and stuff like that. They've now started bringing like flat earth trolls into concave to dilute and divide. There's a full-on war going on. The campaign of Armageddon is this war for the truth, because concave earth's the truth, so you can't be in the kingdom of truth with your flat earth trap. You won't have a working model. But if you actually learn geometry and the star trails, the observations, you'll see that the star trails only work in or outside a globe, and the correct map that works, it works in or outside the globe. And the Luciferians that put it out through the Masons have flipped it inside out. That's the truth. Heaven's in the center of the stationary earth. They flipped it inside out.
Oh my gosh.
Flat
Hey,
earth.
oh, hey, brother, hold on real quick. As I said, I just want to make sure we all get a chance to talk because we only have a few minutes. But I just do
Someone's
want to
like,
ask you
what
that,
was gravity?
brother, hold on. Just let me say something. I hear what you're saying. You could be right. That's why we want to have a full dialogue with you where we can talk for a good 3 hours or so, brother. All right, but for tonight, I just want to ask one more question.
Okay.
Where is the kingdom at today? Right, since you're Christ, right?
Yeah.
Where is your kingdom on earth today? Can I go visit it? And if that's true, right? Why do we see all of these infirmities that's going on? Why is half the world's population living in pure poverty if we're living in Christ's kingdom today, brother? Do you know that, or
You're,
can you just tell me?
you're not in it. Only the Christian concavers that have found CC and humbled under it are in it. It was born again Christians that they didn't have a palace or a kingdom or a nation, but the born again Christians were members of the kingdom, and their activities and communication is the kingdom work. That's the kingdom, the members and the work, the communication, etc. I'm the Son of Man. I've announced my kingship. It's Revelation 14:14. The Son of Man, he is seen with a golden crown and a sharp sickle. That was me announcing that Christian concavers, which is the good seed, the campaign of Armageddon. That's what that is. That it's the kingdom, that I'm the king, and the sharp sickle means everyone has to come in. And what it meant was, before we've got to this progression, like before when Jesus was around, there was a certain way for people to please the Father, obey like the law or do sacrifice. Then Jesus came and he said, like, you must be born again, and everyone's to follow him now. And he made that way for everyone to come into the spiritual kingdom under him. What I'm doing is like clearing things up, telling people to ignore Acts Paul and to get born again, and that concave earth's the truth. That
Okay, mind of God, you have anything you want to
I'm the
respond to the brother?
I would say,
because
I
the
would.
university systems and things like that have been trying to put it together for the Luciferians, and I'm here to put it together. And since I announced the golden crown sharp sickle, it means that born again Christians, that's not sufficient. That would be like being a Jew that hasn't heard about Christ and isn't born again. You have to come into Christian concavers now and enter into the kingdom and sow the seed, go spread the seed, like, join the campaign of Armageddon.
All right, so I actually retract my statement. I don't think it makes sense in the future on my channel. I don't think I want to discuss this because it just has nothing to do with reality. So we can't figure out what the shape is, and the Bible actually says that we're not able to, according to Jeremiah 31:37. So if you believe that the structure of the earth is the highest truth, then we really have nothing to
I
discuss.
don't think that the shape of the earth is the highest truth. Being born again is more important, but half of the world are atheist, and you've spent your life you've spent the last few years messing about with flat earth, which is a model of the earth, and then you'll profess some science or knowledge. So you're a massive hypocrite, Chirag Patel. What a disaster, your last statement.
It's not. Listen, let me answer that.
Everything I've
It's
been
not.
speaking is
Hey,
in
brothers,
reality.
let's keep it civil. Let's keep it civil.
Comes into my kingdom, and you pick up your campaign and get on, or you fail because you've got to hit 2 bars. You've got to be born again. You've got to campaign for me. Or my holy angels are
we're all born again.
Okay.
Born again in the Bible.
The Son of Man coming to sow the good seed, and then he waits for the children of the kingdom to become the good seed, and he waits while the campaign of Armageddon preaches the gospel of my kingdom to all nations, and then my holy angels come and remove everyone like you, Chirag. Now, ETT,
brother, can I just go ahead?
I want to come on your show. Chirag just needs to apologize because I'm the teacher. Chirag's just a flat idiot or a flat troll. Which are you, Chirag? You paid flat troll? You paid flat troll?
Hey, Concave, let mine of God respond, brother. Let him respond, and then I want to say something.
I'm not paid by anybody in the flat earth.
And you don't know you're my enemy. My channel's ConCave Earth Christians. Check it out because you're running out of time. You're running out of days.
Well, that's true.
You've wasted your last year since I came to your channel because you called your channel The Mind of God. Go figure out who you've been messing with, and that I'm bringing the wrath of God. I'm the word of God. I have the iron rod.
Brother. Concave, I'm going to let you talk, brother. I just want to make sure Mind of God can respond, and then I want to ask you a question, all right? So Mind of God, go ahead.
Yeah, so
respond, and I want to ask a question.
The flat earth is important just because then for us Bible people, we then can trust the Bible in the Genesis account. So doesn't mean that I know.
Stop. What happened?
He's not even letting me finish my statement. So
right.
That's the point.
Genesis just explains concave earth. You're just a flat earther. The original word rakia is firmament. They since put dome there. You're just an idiot. You're an underling. I've warned you, Shirag. Check my channel, you little muppet. Concave
Hey, brothers, let's keep it civil. Let's keep it civil. Let's not use name calling, guys.
That had 3 channels deleted. Who's your favorite investigator, truther, journalist? Who's the top truther? Who's the top mind in the earth? You think it's you, Shirag? You think it's your buddy ETT? At 32, after making my first video to call out LSC, I warn the world that I lead and don't mess with me, I'll destroy you.
Okay, brother, please just let me respond. I just have to ask you a question, brother. Okay, I just want to ask a question.
You're laughing
at
the guy that you keep calling Yawahayashai or something.
Brother, just let me say something. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just want to ask you a question. And here's the question.
Under the devil's lies in the flat earth trap, guys. I'm your help. I'm your savior. You are stuck. And when you figure out Earth's concave, it's because I've breathed down your neck so you don't perish. Because you're coming into my kingdom and concave the truth.
Brother, concave, brother, you have to. Brother, please let me talk on my show, brother. Please keep it civil, brother. We're trying to be civil with you. I just want to ask a question. That's all I want to do. Here's my question. You could be right, okay? You certainly could be right. But I just have a question. If I can read in the Bible, right, where it says that Jesus is black, how can you be Jesus if it says that Jesus is black? Mind of God, go ahead and get that for me. And before you respond, brother, let me just read the text, and then I'll give you a whole minute to respond, because you could be right, but we have to deal with the text to see what it says. All right. So, mind of God, you got that for me?
Yeah, Revelation 1.
Revelation 1 and 14.
Yeah. Revelation 1:14. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. So he had a deep voice, powerful voice.
Right. So his skin was as burned brass. Brass turns brownish. So concave Christians, what is your view on that? If I can read Christ is black, and you're white, well, how can you be Christ, brother? I just want to know.
I want you to just stop and start again and be open to what I'm saying, and just, have you ever seen a metal actually look black, or does it actually?
Did his mic cut out? Because it's cut out on my end.
I can hear you, not him.
Okay. Yeah, concave. I don't know what happened, man. You might have to come back and come in. But as I said, guys, I wasn't. My time is running out, so I really do only have a couple minutes here. 2-letter J. I'll let you say anything if you want in a second. But as I said, I just want to say to our brother, ConCave Earth Christians, hey, look, brother, we'll welcome you back because we want to have a discussion with you. That would be a very interesting.
Not on my channel, though.
Okay.
Not on
my channel,
yeah.
Brother. On my channel, you are welcome back, and we can have a very sincere question and talk with each other about it. Okay. So just for the record, brother, you're welcome to come back and to talk with us. Okay. But 2-letter J, I got to end the show in a couple minutes. So anything you want to say before I end the show?
Hello?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right. What's good, man?
And I'm surviving.
Yo.
What's up, dude?
What's up, man? I was in the chat and then I seen this situation going on, so I thought I would join real quick and say, what's good, man?
You know what they say, the block is hot, so we don't know what's going on, dude. Yeah.
But
dude, we were diplomatic until it got like intense. Like we just wanted to figure out what he believes. There was nothing personal. Started using my name and all that. That's kind of strange. I don't like that.
Mm. Yeah. No, I joined the live stream and then I seen, oh wait, hold on, I know what's going on, so I joined to listen to this.
Yeah. Join us tomorrow on my channel, because we're gonna go into like the scriptures, like real scriptures, and we're gonna just leave a panel, me and ETT, and then respond to people in the chat, and then if they have questions or holdups, all we're gonna do is prove everything in the Bible. That's the only thing we're gonna do. So welcome anybody.
All right, I'll join that.
Yeah. So as I said, everybody join us over on that channel. I mean, damn, I didn't think I would go for 2 hours and 30 minutes this night. As I said, I'm only cutting it short because I have only an hour left for the next 2 weeks here, so I gotta conserve that. But yeah, tomorrow we're gonna be live on Mind of God's channel. And for my brother here, ConCave Earth Christians, go ahead and send me an email. If you go to my channel and go to the About section, you can find my Gmail. Send me a message on that, brother, and we will arrange a time where we can have a discussion together. We can have a civil discussion, because I have a lot of questions for you, brother. You can ask me some, and we can have a very civil dialogue, brother. But for the record, you're welcome back to talk with us, brother. I don't know what happened with your mic here. But yeah, I had to end the show with that because of my time. But just to end it on a positive note, brother, you're welcome back. Anytime for a discussion, brother, you're certainly welcome to come back. But yeah, everyone else join us tomorrow evening. We're gonna try to go live a little earlier so I can be on a little longer, on Mind of God's page. And I will be civil this time. I promise I will be on my own behavior, for lack of better words, inside joke. But if anybody made it this far into the video, if you're watching after the stream, I want you to put hashtag.
Wait, can I make
go
the
ahead
hashtag?
and put.
Can I make the hashtag?
Go ahead.
Hashtag con.
Okay, hashtag con in the comment section down below if you're watching after the stream. But anyway, with that, I'm going to have to end the show. And as I said, ConCave Earth Christians, just send me an email, brother, and we will get you on the show, in the future, brother. But anyway, Sacramento, I'll see you tomorrow, man. All right. So yeah, that's just gonna end the show off with that. I did not expect to go that long tonight. For a little while here, the streams are gonna be a little slow on my channel just because I have maybe a little under 2 hours left, or an hour left of my time for the month, because I'm only awarded 20 hours unless I pay $40 for more, which I can't do at the moment. So, I got to wait for another week or week and a half until I get my hours renewed. So tomorrow we're going to be live on Mind of God's channel. Everybody's welcome to join us. Luke, I'm sorry you couldn't join tonight, man, but Lord willing, tomorrow we can have you on, because we always like to have you on to talk. You're a very sincere brother. So, sorry about that, man. But, I was planning on ending this an hour and a half ago, but, hey, the spirit had it go for as long as it did. So, but anyway, as I said, Luke, go ahead and join us tomorrow on Mind of God's channel, and we'll be there. Lord willing, you can join us. We'll be going live, Lord willing, early, just so we can talk for maybe 3 hours or so. But anyway, I'm just going to end the video off with that. If anybody has any questions or comments, you can hit us up down below in the comment section, and you can ask your question. If anybody also would like to come on the show in the future, you can hit us up at our Gmail. Go to our channel and click the About section. You can find our Gmail there. Send us a message, and we'll arrange a show if anybody wants to come on and have a specific topic of discussion. But anyway, with that being said, I'm going to say shalom.